So this is the NovemberScot Podcast. My name is Andrew Riley and I'm with Scott Craig from DC Fitness. How you doing?
I'm good, thanks. Just out the gym.
Yeah.
Hence why I was a wee bit late.
Sunday mornings, right?
I know,
Sunday.
but
it's a time for rest. It's a day of rest.
Nah, I quite like training on a Sunday morning because when I'm training during the week, I train myself quite a lot.
Sure.
Because I have clients in the morning, clients in the evening. I'll train in between, but there's nobody in the gym at that time because it's not. I don't work in a public gym where people just go in and train whenever they want. I work in a gym where there's set classes.
Sure.
So there's either set classes in the AM or the PM, and I'm coaching one-to-one throughout the day. But when I'm training, there's nobody there. So
okay.
I train myself quite a lot. I train with Stella, who I work with, once or twice a week. And then Sunday morning is open gym. So the members can just come into the gym and do their own thing.
So that's a members only, is that?
Members only.
Cool.
You can drop in and pay if you want to come and train. Like I'll bring a pal.
Sure.
If people are like travelling and they're in Glasgow and they see the gym and they want to train, they could come in and pay whatever and just train.
Cool.
So yeah, but I like going in on a Sunday morning because there's other guys there. Like I trained with one of the members today, and you just get a better workout when you're training with someone because you're trying to push against them. It's almost like competition.
Sure, I was going to say, do you actually prefer working out by yourself or working with someone else?
Man, in all honesty, a bit of both. Working out by myself with my own music, as you know, I'm into my music.
Yeah.
Always have been a big part of my life. And when I've got the headphones in, the songs that I want to listen to in my ears, heavy stuff, pop punk stuff, upbeat stuff that I love. It pushes me on, and I can get in my own space and have the time of my life. As maybe we'll talk about a bit later, it's one of the things that make me happiest in life is training. So on my own with somebody, it doesn't really matter. I'm having a good time. But on the flip side, when you're training with someone, especially with the type of training I do, you push harder. You don't rest as much. You don't fuck about on your phone in between sets. Like today, the guy I was working with, we done a bit of deadlifting, so it was like I went, he went, I went, he went. There was no messing about. Am I okay to swear? I swear a lot on my podcast, and I just didn't want to swear too much on yours. But yeah, so he went, I went, and then we done some other heavy stuff like squat cleans, and then we had like a 16-minute AMRAP, which is just as many rounds as possible of rowing, dumbbell cleans, and going and press and barbell cleans, and that was just all out, do as many reps as you can for 16 minutes. So if I was on my own, I wouldn't have done as much as what I'd done as he was pushing beside me. I was trying to beat him, basically.
Okay, no, that makes absolute sense. Somebody else pushing you along. I am the exact same when I do get there. If somebody else isn't, I do kind of lose interest. My head may go somewhere else, and I don't get anywhere near, evidently, anything done than probably where it should be.
It's easy to happen. Like, yourself, if you're in training with me as a coach, I telling you what to do, you do it.
Agreed.
You get an hour of kicking your ass, basically, and you work hard. You've felt sick during those hours. You've been sweating. You've felt like passing out sometimes. Yeah. You go on your own. You don't have that. You've got your phone. You can get a bit... I do it as well. Do you know what I mean? Some sessions it should take an hour, sometimes take an hour and a half, because I just end up in sitting down for 10 minutes thinking about nothing.
Social media mode.
Yeah.
Very much, yeah. Cool. All right. Well, going from your love of training, that didn't start off as a love of training.
No.
So this was, how many years ago did you make the change? I guess the change that how, if you don't mind me asking, what was the heaviest you were at when you decided to change? Yeah,
so I remember tipping the scales at 17.5 stone.
Right.
At one point, and I remember that day I was in my dad's house. I never had scales in my own place. And I knew I always was maybe about between 16 and 17.
Sure.
Of like body fat, like there was no muscle there at this point. I didn't train. I went to the gym now and again when I had that burst of motivation, but I'd never had any lean mass. It was 16, 17 stone of body fat. So I always kind of knew I was about there, and then I stepped on one day and I saw 17.5 and I was like, what? Shit. That was the heaviest, and even at that I went to the gym for about 2 or 3 weeks and then it stopped again.
Sure.
And then I started properly 2012, near the end of 2012, and then it really started in the start of 2013 when I went. That was when I went,
Just
and it
changed.
never stopped.
Yeah. See, I think a lot of people need that kind of kick to it, because I stop and start, and even with you, one thing in life gets in the way. For me, it was random crap with the house, it was random crap with work, it was changing of jobs, it was just stuff that kind of got in the way, but I shouldn't have let it kind of get in the way from stopping my training. And when I was training with you before, I think the heaviest I was 18 something, and I managed to get down to, I was looking at actually old notes the other day, it was just under 17, so it was 16 something.
It was 16 something, I remember.
And I was like, and I'm back up to like 18 something now,
right.
But that's just for bad habits. Night shift doesn't help, eating shite doesn't help. But I do need, recently I've got that kick to get back into it again, but it's still nowhere near 100% that I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
And I need to get past that stage.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people are also, they go to the gym every once a week, they get that free trial membership, they get the stuff, and they kind of just fizzles out into nothing. What made you stick with it? I mean, you first went the first few weeks, maybe it was hard, tough. What made you decide to keep going?
The situation you're finding yourself in, like, you're not alone there. No. Everybody does that. Yeah. Like, at some stage, there's people that pay gym memberships literally to never go, or maybe like once every 3 months. I don't know if like paying it. I used to do it. I paid £40 a month to a health club membership. This was before Pure Gyms and all that.
Right, yeah.
With the intentions of, I'm going to get going, I'm going to start, I'm going to get back into it. And it just never happened. We'll probably touch on it a bit later on the podcast. I had an ongoing issue with alcohol from the ages of kind of 17 to 25. And that was the thing for me that always messed my plans of getting into great shape up. But yeah, you're not alone. You know, everybody does it. And I done it. I had gym memberships from probably the age of about 20, 21, all the way through those years, and I lost a bit of weight, and then I'd gain a bit of weight, and I'd lose a little bit, and then I'd put it back on, just because I was never consistent. Anyone can lose weight. It's pretty easy to lose weight. You just need to change some dietary habits, start exercising, and you will instantly lose weight.
Yeah.
That isn't the hard part. The hard part is continuing that on and keeping it off. When I was young, I was football daft. Football every day of my life, pretty much. I was active. I didn't have a great appetite. I didn't eat loads of crap. I'd crave junk food all the time. I would get cooked healthy dinners at home as a kid and stuff. So I was always in good shape. Like, I was thin. I was healthy because I was playing football all the time. I was playing for teams, so I was playing like 90 minutes on a Saturday. I was training twice through the week. I was playing with my pals every other day. So I was so active. I had a bike and stuff like that, cycling about. Always, as you are as a kid, you just walk about, you run about everywhere, playing in the park, whatever it is. So I never had a weight issue when I was younger. And then I got to 17 and I discovered alcohol. And that was it. I started drinking, I stopped football, started boozing regularly, and I actually put a post up on Instagram last week of 17 to 18.
Yeah, I saw that was
the
when you were playing
difference
before.
It's pretty bad, isn't it? Like 17, I'm in good shape.
Yeah.
I look well, I look good, I look healthy, and then at 18, I'm just like, I'm really overweight. I just look uncomfortable. I'm wearing a top that I'm not comfortable in, because you can see I'm trying to posture myself to make myself look a bit better.
Not trying to do that right now. But no, I completely agree that booze is definitely one of the biggest things that happened to me as well. Because I was in the Air Cadets when I was younger, and I was looking at old photos where I was actually quite, not thin, but I was like fit, because we were doing stuff every weekend, we were running about. Then I moved to Glasgow from Ayr, discovered Glasgow's music scene in one way or another, including yourself, and Euros My Actions Your Exit.
Yep.
Great band.
Thanks.
But you end up going to a lot of gigs, you end up going to a lot of bars, you end up going to wherever, and that was just downhill from there pretty much. You were hungover to do anything, and then you kind of woke up early enough to go out again that night and just get happened again and again.
Of course, man. Yeah. So like,
and then I got fat. That's my.
There was two things for me. The one that I had a problem with alcohol as soon as I started drinking,
right,
and 2, I was in the music scene.
Yeah.
I was in a band, and it was chaos, man. It was madness, and what came with the band scene was parties, was partying in clubs after the gigs, taking it back to someone's house, and then for me it was carrying on for a day or two after. I had a job where I could turn up drunk if I could get away with it,
right.
or I could maybe get away with just phoning in sick. It's just how it kind of went, and so those two things put together, mixed with no more activity. I wasn't exercising, I wasn't playing football, I just gained weight. As you say in those pictures, I looked terrible in the space of a year, and then it kind of only got worse from that point on. I'd moved out, so I'd stayed with my parents up until I was 18, and as soon as I turned 18, pretty much, it was like 2 months after my 18th birthday, I had a flat in Kelvin Grove, West End of Glasgow, with 2 of my friends.
Terrible combination.
Yeah,
it's too much freedom. Yeah.
Too much freedom. I was even only working part-time because I was at college, or supposed to be at college.
Yeah.
So I was just boozing, man. I was boozing all the time, and my health got worse, and my mental health got worse, and then it went from bad to worse essentially. Fast forward to 24, and just coming to the end of being 24 before I turned 25, and I decided to stop drinking through a number of reasons, and that's when the weight loss kind of started. As soon as I stopped drinking, I wasn't intaking those thousands of calories of alcohol anymore, so I instantly dropped a lot of weight. I actually dropped a lot of weight the year before, because I stopped drinking for 5 weeks the year before I properly stopped drinking, because I tried at that point.
Sure.
So 5 weeks of no drinking. I went to the gym those 5 weeks, and I lost like a stone or something like that. Like instant change.
How hard were those 5 weeks?
Brutal.
Yeah.
In all honesty, I say I stopped drinking. I was sneakily drinking behind people's backs and stuff. My friends thought I'd stopped, and I did, but not completely. I was like kind of having a sneaky drink here and there, but
I think it would be worse if you just stopped. Like if your whole body just shut down or something you were so used to. Then if you were doing it gradually, bit by bit, even if it was giving everyone else a kind of false alarm, that's probably what made you stick with it. Because you didn't just cut it off completely. Yeah. I think if I cut it off completely, I would want it more. Like if I just cut out all the junk. I think that's
kind of what happened in all honesty back then, because I got to a point where like my mental health was really fucking bad, man. Right. So bad. Didn't realise even how bad until looking back from now, being sober and a clear head, and you know how I feel now and stuff like that. It was really bad, so I stopped. But I never told myself it would be forever. I just said, I want to lose a bit of weight, I want to feel a bit better. I did, but it made me want it more, as you say. So when my birthday came, at that point, I'd been off it for 5 weeks. I always told myself, I'll have a drink at my birthday. Right. Well, fuck me, I can't even remember my birthday because I hit it so hard. I genuinely can't remember like that week. I just drank. I was off work and I literally drank the whole week. I was waking up, boozing from the minute I woke up, going out at night, and it got worse. Then when I stopped the next time, it was at a point where I told myself, this has to be it. It has to be forever. It can't be maybe drink in the future. It has to end. So again, I'd lost. The weight I'd lost the previous time, I actually kind of kept off, because when I was boozing heavily, but I wasn't really eating, because I was like, I don't want to put this weight back on. So like, I would go through a day and eat like a pack of cold meat and like some eggs and salad. But
balance it out with the booze.
But then I'd be boozing and taking those calories that I'm missing through food through booze. But I wasn't gaining weight. I was kind of maintaining where I was at. So I looked a bit better, to be honest. But but the mental health side of things got worse that year, and then decided to chuck it all together. I told myself it'd be forever. Did I know it'd be forever? I don't know, because anything in life that was sent to test me, I turned to booze. So who knows if I would have stayed off it completely. But 2 months after I stopped, my dad died.
Right.
So that was the catalyst for the actual lifestyle change, the actual sort your life out.
Sure.
You know,
anything like that.
do not go back the way you can't go back the way. You know, when my dad died, it was it was a sudden thing. There was no illness. There was no warning. Me and my dad we were best friends, but we also had a bit of a rocky relationship because of my boozing, because I just let him down all the time through drinking and being drunk and causing bother through being drunk and not turning up to things.
Sure.
We would go to the football every week. There'd be weeks where I'd just be still wrecked in the car, where he could smell it and see the state of me, or I wouldn't wake up. He'd be there to pick me up with his pals, and I just wouldn't be. I'd be knocked out.
Yeah.
And my phone would be off, or I wouldn't answer. So he'd then have to just go without me. He'd then have to try and sell my ticket. You know, they'd be running late, and I'd do that quite a lot, man. But he always forgave me. We'd then become pals again, and I'd do it again. You know, so. But at the bottom of it all, we were really good friends, and we would spend a lot of time together at the football. I would go to his and maybe just hang out, just like pals, you know. So as much as I fucked up our relationship quite a lot, and I put him through a lot of fucking shit. At the end of it all, as I say, we were best pals. And when I stopped drinking, you know, he was very proud of that, because by the time it came to me stopping, he knew. Because obviously for your family, you hide it. You don't. I'm living with my pal. I'm not living with my family. They're not seeing me be reckless week on week on week. They're just, he's seeing it in bits of like getting too wrecked at a family event and causing fucking bother, or not turn up to football, but he's not seeing me drinking through the week, or
the full extent.
You know, blacking out, ending up waking up in a police cell, you know, that kind of stuff. So yeah, he's So but what happened was one day where, so he worked in the bank, I worked in the bank, he was quite high up. So when I wasn't turning up, he would find out, couldn't get away from it. Sure. So there was one night, I went out on a Wednesday night, ended up, it was a Deaf Havana gig at the O2 ABC, done the usual, convinced myself I could have a few pints. You've got work in the morning, it's all right, I'll have a few, we'll go up the road. But I'd already had a lot of bevy before the gig.
Sure.
Bevied at the gig, 5, 6, 7 pints, can't remember. And then obviously I went out after the gig, drank all night, went home, opened a bottle of Jack Daniels. And next thing I knew, it was kind of 6 in the morning. Next thing I know, I'm waking up, it's 12 in the afternoon. I was due in the bank at 9 a.m. My dad's trying to kick my front door down.
Fuck's sake. Because
everybody thinks something's happened to me because I'm not answering my phone, I've not turned up for work. I'm passed out, man. You know, that's it. So that he got in to the flat, I wake up, I'm still fucking drunk, and I just had to be honest with him. I just had to tell him the truth. I couldn't hide it anymore. I used to always hide it. I used to always go, I'm fine, man, it was just somebody's birthday and it just got a bit out of hand, or I've had a bad week in work, I was just letting go. But I had to tell him the truth. I had to say, I need help, you know, this is bad, I fucking feel terrible, and I've really got to sort this shit out. And that wasn't even when I sorted it out either. I kept going. Again, I went and moved in with him for a wee bit,
probably the best
to get myself kind of sorted. But it still went on for a bit after that, and then so yeah, I stopped. So basically I stopped May 7th, 2012. So I had a good couple of months where I wasn't drinking, and he was so fucking happy about that, you know. I remember being out for my birthday in the start of July, and we went for like a meal kind of thing, and he was like, "You having a pint?" Because it was my birthday. I think he thought I was just going to drink, and I went, "No, I'm not doing it. I'm going to stay off it." And he was like, so shocked but really happy.
Good.
And then I had a couple of nights out after that, and he would ask me, "Did you drink?" I was like, "No, stayed sober. I've not drank at all." He was like super chuffed. And then 28th of July, it was a Saturday. I was in my flat. I was playing FIFA with my flatmate Nathan at the time, and my other pal Mackie was in the flat with me. I got a phone call from my sister. It was like, I guess afternoon, sometime in the afternoon. I'm like, what's my sister phoning me for? A Saturday afternoon. Answered it. Well, that was that. I've been told Dad went out to play golf, had a heart attack and died. That's it. Life has fucking changed. Literally spoke to him on the phone the night before. We were going to the football on the Sunday morning, and spoke to him the night before. I had a night out the night before with the branch colleagues, and again he was like, "You going to have a booze?" I was like, "I know, I'm not." And he was like, "Oh, brilliant, well done. See you on Sunday morning, pick you up, blah blah blah." Yeah, that was it. Last time I spoke to him. Woke up. Got the phone call on Saturday, and that was it. So meltdown ensued, obviously. And I turned to my mate after I'd initially stopped, like
everything.
Yeah, just the kind of rolling about the floor, crying and screaming. I turned to my mate and I says, "I'm going to get booze. I'm going to Tesco." I was at Tesco across the road from the flat, and I don't, and he was just like, "Man, you got to do what you got to do." He was in no place to tell me not to do it. I was like, I was fucking, I was a mess, and I picked up my keys and I was like, "Fucking, what are you doing, man? Can't do that." My sister was 12 at the time, my little sister, and my big sister, when I spoke to her on the phone, was like, I'll come and pick you up soon, so get some shit ready. And I was like, I can't go there pissed, my wee sister's 12, like, I need to be there for her, I need to be there for everybody else, so I didn't do it.
Awesome.
And so the next, obviously I was off work grieving and stuff, sorting out my dad's funeral and all the rest of it, so I ended up off work for 6 weeks. I would try to go back after 2 weeks, and I lasted half an hour, man, because everybody in the bank knew my dad. He was one of these guys that everybody knew. He'd been there for 35 years, good guy, everybody loved him. He wasn't a guy who worked in one place, he was about everywhere, so everyone knew Douglas Craig. He was like everybody's pal, everybody liked him. So as soon as I was back to work, everybody's like, "Your dad was a great man, I'm really sorry." I was just like, fuck, I can't do it.
Can't turn a corner.
Cannot do this. So I went home again that day, and I was off for 6 weeks. So 6 weeks of no working, a lot of time to yourself, a lot of time to think. Man, that was so hard to not turn to booze.
That can go either way.
Of course, man.
Either way.
And it went, and thankfully, I chose to take responsibility for once in my life instead of just taking the easy option. Because I would have fucking killed myself, man. Like if I turned back to booze at that point. I don't mean intentionally.
No, yeah.
You wouldn't
be able to stop.
I wouldn't have ended up back. I couldn't have went back to work. I would have probably been boozing to get myself through it every day. So it was either that or, do the right thing, make your family proud, make your dad proud, sort of shit out. And I chose the gym. I joined the gym, and I went to counselling. And I'd actually booked counselling before my dad died,
right, through
the alcohol
addiction
counselling, because I was struggling. As much as I was doing it, I was hard, man. I wanted to drink all the time, and managed to not, but didn't change the fact that I wanted to. So I went to the GP and got a thing for a counsellor, and then, but because my dad had then died since, I got counselling for alcohol addiction and bereavement. Luckily, the girl that was booked in with said she could do that. She could help with both. So I got six weeks of that, and I joined the gym.
And do you think that made a big difference, the actual counselling?
Yeah, I think it did, because it's really hard to open up to your friends and family about your issues.
Sure.
It's embarrassing to tell someone at 24, 25 years old that you've got a problem, and that you're feeling these things, and the way you've acted, and it's hard, man. So I think sitting talking to someone who didn't know me, didn't know my family, didn't know anything about me, I just get shit off my chest. It helped, man. It really helped. And then mix that with the gym, which was giving me this sense of accomplishment. you're actually doing something positive. You're actually sticking it out. You're not going to the gym and then going to the pub, you know. I was feeling mentally good. I was feeling better. I was losing a bit of weight, and that's how it kept it. So my situation, granted, is a little bit different because I had this massive life event that made me this determined person, because it was either go back to the booze or fucking hit the gym and, you know,
change
make
life,
something of yourself, you know.
Absolutely.
And I was in that gym and I was like, nothing's going to stop me. I'm going to fucking smash this. I had this determination I'd never had before, and that's why a little bit different for me in that sense. But at the same time, like, you know, people that use work, stress as an excuse to not go to the gym,
100%,
to go and eat on the couch, takeaways and alcohol and stuff.
Yep.
That's the same. It's not as crazy. I think it's not as a meaningful thing, but it's that you can use that in the same energy of, I've got this pent up stress and anger. Instead of taking it out with food and make myself feel worse, I'm going to go and feel good about myself and release the stress and emotion. And that's what I try and do in my job now, to use my experiences to help people, you know, beat their problems, albeit it might be through work, it might be alcohol, it might be drugs, it might be relationships, work, whatever. But at the end of it all, the message is exercise is this thing that can make you feel amazing, on top of the world. You
just gotta go do it.
You gotta go and do it, and the more I felt I was pushing myself and losing weight, feeling better, looking better, fitting into better clothes, the more I just was more determined, you know. I was just like, gotta keep going.
Sure, no, I could not agree more. The fact when I lost that weight with you before, that did drive and push me over, and then it allowed a change of job to just take that away completely.
Yeah.
Allowed moving house, completely take that away. And I just never thought I had the time to get back into it again, when I probably did if I just moved stuff around again. So
we all have the time, man. Although I will say there are valid excuses to not do it, you know. Stress, moving house is a really stressful thing. Yeah. You know, work.
That was 3 years ago. I kind of need to get over it.
Well, you know, at the time, I don't, mate, to be honest, you fucking killed me, man, because you came in and you done so well, and then you're like, oh, you know, I've changed jobs, I'll need to take a wee bit of time off. And I was like, fuck. I was like, because I was like, you're doing so well, I know for a fact you're going to gain your weight back, because you're not going to keep going to the gym. So I was like, damn it, man, you know, not for me as like a coach for like getting paid or anything like that. You know me, I'm in work. I'm in work to help people. Yeah, I get paid because it's my job and I need to pay bills, but I have a passion to help people. It's part of like the recovery of me. Is like, my fulfillment comes from helping other people get their goals the way that I changed my life around. So I was like just gutted, because it was actually, I think that was your second time anyway, because you started before.
Been round two at that point.
You started before, chucked it. The time before you lost weight as well, chucked it, put the weight back on, came back, lost over a stone and a bit, and then it kind of happened again, and I was like, fair enough, but I was gutted, man, because you were doing well, and I was excited to see you lose another couple of stone.
I know, and it definitely, the motivation was there. It was the main motivation, because recently with all the video and everything, I've worked with a couple of PTs and a couple of fitness people, and when I've spoken to them, like, oh, so did you start just fit from school? Yeah, it's like we did fitness at school, I was on PE, I was just always fit, and I was like, right, that. And part of me thinks, so that they know what they're doing, they've done it all their life, but none of them have actually went in the stages from being where I am to where I want to be, which I think this is why probably you're one of the best people for it. Yeah, that's why I'm fascinated with the story. Yeah. So this is what you've been building up to, is obviously the Ironman stuff.
Of course, yeah.
This is just, you just did the second one or the first one?
Very first one. I done a half Ironman last year. So, but that isn't. It's an Ironman event, but you don't get to be an Ironman after a half Ironman. Full Ironman is where it's at to be Ironman.
Right. Okay.
So that was just there in July. Yeah, done the half last year.
Cool. So obviously you've been training for. When did you think I want to do the full Ironman? When did that start training wise?
Man, it goes back literally years and years. It's been something that I've been working towards, but knowing for 4 years, but really 6 years. Because when I joined the gym, as I was talking about there, after my dad passed and stuff, and I was using it for mental health, keep myself right, and lose weight, because I did want to lose weight, I did want to look better. I went through my whole adult life, 17, 18 to 24, 25, hating how I looked, not comfortable with girls, not comfortable. I didn't even go on holidays, one, because I didn't trust myself not to fall off a balcony or something. I'm being serious, man. I'm not kidding when I say that. I would be that guy who would get too drunk and hurt themselves on holiday, in a foreign country. That's why I didn't fucking go.
Yeah,
plus I had no money to do it either, because I was spending all my money on boozing. But so I had that. Summertime, hated it. Wanted to wear a nice t-shirt, and I'd be wearing big shirts and jumpers and hoodies in melting heat, because then people would say you weren't that big, why were you? But that's how I felt about myself, and that's what matters. It doesn't matter if other people didn't think. My friends, and of course my friends are going to say that to me, but I felt that way, because I was cutting about with guys that were so thin, and they were wearing like the girls' jeans at the time, the hardcore kind of scene, the really tight jeans, the really tight t-shirts. I wanted to do it. That sounds ridiculous, but I wanted to wear clothes like that, and I couldn't. I couldn't even go to Top Man and buy jeans, because I didn't fit in their biggest size. Yeah. The larges, the extra larges, I didn't feel comfortable in the t-shirts. So, and that's just how I felt. I think because when I was like 15, 16, 17 in the band and stuff, I was thin, and I did feel good, and I felt I looked good on the stage and stuff like that. I went from that to a guy who was embarrassed to be on stage, and again, I would always be wearing clothes I didn't want to wear, but just because I didn't want to jump about stage with a t-shirt on and people see you jiggly bits. Aye, that's essentially it, man. So yeah, going back to like Iron Man. So I joined the gym for those purposes, and then I just got this obsession, to be honest. Like. I've come to realise recently that I did replace one addiction with the other.
Oh yeah, I mean it's definitely like if it had going on booze hit you that quickly, it's like an addictive personality that you clearly have. But you put it in the right places, like gym, and I went in. It's the best thing ever. Yeah. I done
a podcast with my friend Jordan last week, who ended up he's an alcoholic. He ended up on drugs as well, in rehab and stuff. And he said a line that kind of hit me, and he was like, "We're not normal." He's like, we're not normal. We have these addictive personalities. Yeah. He's now running sub 3 hour marathons and 50-mile ultra runs and stuff like that, that
makes me tired just thinking about that.
It makes me tired as well, but that's what keeps him right through giving up drinking drugs, and so yeah, I got mad into it, and but I loved it. It just made me feel happy, and I'd never really felt that before, because drinking made me happy, but in the long run made me worse. It made me really depressed and made me fucked up in the head.
At the time it was good, but
it was the only thing that made me feel good. Hence why I'd done it so much. Hence why I was craving it all the time, because I felt like shit, and I was like, I need to get drunk because it makes me feel better. And I was out with my mates going, it's a good laugh. But then I'd be drinking on my own after that, all night, through the night, waking up the next day, So it wasn't
just a social thing, it was like constantly all day.
I mean, don't get me wrong, I wasn't waking up and drinking vodka all day, every day. I held down jobs my whole life. Very lucky to hold down jobs, mate. I had through people covering for me a lot and liking me as a person and knowing I wasn't a bad person deep down, but this thing was getting a hold of me, and I would get covered for quite a lot. But anyway, what was I saying?
Iron Man.
Yeah. So, I got mad into the gym and stuff. So, but I was only doing weights and a bit of like HIIT training, cardio-wise. But I was still in the bank, obviously, at this point. And I'd lost a chunky weight. I was looking like a different person by this point. So everything work knows me as like the healthy guy now. I'm coming in with the chicken and broccoli, drinking water all day and going straight to the gym every day, So everybody knows me as the fit guy now, from the fat guy to the fit guy. And So a woman turns around one day and goes, Scott, the bank are looking for people to do the London Triathlon for the bank charity Alzheimer's Society. You train all the time, why don't you do it? So I was like, triathlon, what's that? Swimming, cycling, running? I was like, I don't do any of that, I just lift some weights and do a bit of HIIT training on a treadmill. Then I looked at the page and it was the anniversary of my dad dying, and my dad's dad had Alzheimer's, my granda, so no brainer, man, had to do it.
Can't say no to that.
Had to do it. I only had 2 months to train for it, and I actually made a mistake because they were looking for folk to sign up to the sprint distance. I signed up to the Olympic distance. So
what's for the novices and as
so
well?
Olympic distance triathlon is a 1,500 metre swim in open water.
Right.
Well, not all open water, but this one was a 40 kilometre cycle and a 10k run. So at this point, I've not swam since I was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
I've not cycled an actual bike. I've only been on a bike in the gym or when I was a kid. And the most running I've done is football or HIIT training on the treadmill.
Sure.
So I've got 2 months to learn how to swim, get conditioning on a bike for something that's going to take me, I don't know, I think at that point probably took me a couple of hours, and then run endurance 10k. But I was just in the mindset now that I could do anything.
Yeah.
You know, I was like, nothing's going to stop me.
Which is a good mindset.
Of course, because I would have shat out it if I didn't think like that, because there was many time when I get in that pool on my first, one of my first sessions, and I'd do about 10 lengths. Never realised how hard it was. First session in the pool, I'd done about 10 lengths and I was dying, and I was like, oh my god. That was literally a 15 metre pool as well, so that was like 150 metres.
Right.
And I was like, Jesus. So, and I had a 2-week holiday in Florida coming up, so that was 2 weeks off training as well, pretty much. I'd done a wee bit of running in Florida. It was too hot though, and my pool was, in the hotel was real small. But yeah, I just basically went and swam as much as I could. I didn't have a bike, so I just done bike in the gym as much as I could, and I started going out running, and I fucked it all up in terms of like equipment and stuff. I bought a windsurfing type wetsuit, which is a really thick wetsuit instead of a one for swimming.
Okay.
I borrowed my pal's bike, who lived in London, didn't have any gears on it, and I just didn't have a clue.
Ill prepared.
Ill prepared. And when I say that's a 15 metre swimming pool I was training in, I didn't know that. I just Googled swimming pool sizes and it came up with 25 metres, which most pools are. Right. So I thought I was training a 25 metre pool, training a 15 metre pool. So all the distances I thought I had done in training, had to take. So, and I'd done one open water session. I went to East Kilbride, some pond thing, there was some class on, hired a wetsuit. And oh my god, man, I was just like, what the fuck? This is so hard. I didn't know how to swim. I was swimming like my head over the water. So the woman that was like taking the class, like, Scott, what are you doing? You need to breathe. You need to put your head under the water and then come up for a breath. And I just couldn't do it. It was too hard. So I was going down to London. Thought I'm not gonna get through this swim. And so I'd done my first triathlon. It was horrific. The swim, I almost asked people to pull me out of the water twice. I could hardly breathe. I was panicking. There was people kicking me. My swim technique was obviously terrible. It was so bad. It was so hard, man. But I kept thinking to my dad, I just had to keep going. People, I'd raised like over £1,000 in charity. So I was like, all those people donate money. If I don't get through the first bit, I'm going to be mortified to tell people that. So I just kept swimming, man. Got out the water, thought I was going to collapse, didn't. Got on my bike, cycling about London. Everybody's got these road TT bikes, the one that I use now. Right. And I'm on this thing, it's not the right size for me, there's no gears, it was horrific, but I got through it.
How long was the cycle?
40 kilometres.
Alright, okay.
And then I ran 10k. Run was actually the best part for me, and I wasn't a runner at that point, but I just kept going. When you're in that race environment, you just keep going. And I done it in 3 hours 52 minutes or something like that.
That sounds pretty good.
No, terrible. So but I loved it. I loved the feeling of that achievement, pushing myself in the training. The running outside was giving me like a high I'd never felt before through exercise.
Sure.
And I loved the whole process. The day was really hard, but I'd done it. I've crossed the line. What a feeling. Never felt that before. Better than any buzz from alcohol I'd ever had in my life. So I instantly told myself, do it next year. Get a proper bike, get a proper wetsuit, proper training, see how you do.
Mm-hmm.
I went, done it. Following year, exact same event. 2 hours 42.
Right.
Almost a full hour of...
Not panicking.
Yeah, well, I don't get me wrong, I was still shitting myself. But I'd got... Did I get open water swimming training that year? I don't think I did, actually. I think it was all pool swimming, but I had a better wetsuit.
Sure.
What a difference that made. What a difference. I borrowed my friend's road bike, so I had clip-on shoes and the gears and stuff.
Sure.
What a difference. And then I was a little bit better at running as well. So yeah, full 50 minutes. Crossed the line that day. That was 2014. Told myself, because I'd looked into triathlon, I saw Ironman is like the pinnacle, the maddest triathlon you can do. It's not even like double an Olympic. It's like 3 times an Olympic or something like that.
Right.
In fact, it'd be more than that. 5 times or something.
What are the distance for the Ironman?
Well, the Ironman, so the Olympic distance is a 1,500 metre swim. The Ironman's 4,000, just under 4,000 metres. The bike is 40k Olympic. The bike is 180k Ironman, 112 miles. The run's 10k, the run's a full marathon. So I crossed the line that day. I beat my time by 50 minutes. I felt on top of the world. I felt unstoppable, man. And I told myself, I'm going to do an Ironman one day. My girlfriend at the time was with me. I says to her, I'm going to do an Ironman. I'm going to do it. Which obviously I have. But at that point, I felt I wanted to get stronger.
Sure.
And if I just cut straight into Ironman training, I would have got smaller because I would have been doing loads of cardio, lost a bit of muscle. I didn't really know much about nutrition at that point, so I wouldn't have been fueling properly and stuff. So I took a year out triathlon. Apart from I done a relay for a team who didn't have a swimmer, nobody could swim. So I said I'd swim for a team in the London one again. So I was at London Triathlon 3 years in a row. Done the swim, came out to swim, and I was absolutely gutted I wasn't doing the full thing.
Aye.
I was like, oh, what, man, this is... I'm just
Should've just went.
I know I should have. And just stole somebody's bike mate for it. But yeah, I took a year out and focused on lifting, eating more food, and I put on a good bit of weight, increased my size a bit.
Mm.
And then 25th, so that would have been 2016, I told myself Ironman training starts this year. So again, I wasn't going to just dive in and do a full Ironman. I hadn't done any cardio for a year, apart from football. Mm. So I signed up for another Olympic distance triathlon. I signed up in Brighton that year. Got another PB, only by 3 minutes or something like that, but got a PB time-wise, and I was good. I think I was like 2 stone heavier, because when I went face 17.5 at my heaviest, I went right down to 12 stone.
Right.
Ended up really skinny. See if I show you a picture of my first triathlon, I'm a rake. There's nothing on me, man. My arms are so fucking small. My face is like almost gaunt.
What was it, just going back to that, what was the time difference between you going from 17 to 12, or what was that scale?
Well, a lot. So the first time I stopped drinking, I lost about a stone.
Sure.
So then I was down at like 16 something. Can't remember the exact weights. And then, so when I stopped drinking again, that would have been 2012, mid 2012, and then I got down to 12 stone over the next year and a half.
Right.
So 4 stone in about a year and a half. But I was gaining a bit of muscle as well, so it wasn't rapid weight loss or anything like that. I was training with weights, I was eating more protein and stuff.
So this might be a bit of a strange question. For somebody who is bigger, who wants to get a lot smaller, my main focus is right now, well, I've got this kind of baggy bit here. What's that going to look like at 12 stone? And that's my fear of, if I do ever lose the weight and get to a point that I'm going to have these... Well, a lot of people get when they've lost a traumatic, like, especially when they do it quickly and these like fad stuff, they have these like saggy bits everywhere.
Yep.
No, there was too personal issue. Was that something you ever had? Like, you came across, you were just like...
That is a real thing, man.
Yeah.
Like, people who lose extreme weight can have excess skin.
Yeah.
That's just a fact. It's unfortunate. Mm-hmm. Stretch marks, all that kind of stuff. It's the thing.
If you do it gradually...
Nah, I think if you're big, you've got a lot of weight to lose. Like I had a client when Big Craig, he went through 10, he lost 10 stone.
Yeah.
So he looked great, especially when he's like flexing and stuff like that. But just standing there, there's a bit of loose skin and stuff like that.
Sure.
That's just through extreme weight loss. It's not that bad though. It's nothing crazy. For me, I don't have in like that. To be honest, I've got some stretch marks in places, but what I do have is like if I'm like just sitting down or like even standing up, I can pinch like a good bit. So people who see a picture of me maybe and I'm standing top off and I look lean, I've got good physique, lean physique, abs and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I can still pinch a lot down my lower stomach.
Sure.
Like I've done a picture of it on my page and I'm like holding it and I'm like, this is just.
There.
I let myself get 5 stone overweight. This is, no matter how much I diet, this is here for me. It's like it's almost like a loose. Sure. It's almost like loose skin at the bottom of my stomach.
Just not anything extreme.
It's nothing extreme that you wouldn't even notice it in a picture. But if you were to grab me, you wouldn't probably expect that to be there. You wouldn't think you could grab a big chunk of my skin.
Okay.
Sitting down, my lower stomach, I feel it there,
Yeah.
But it's nothing. It doesn't bother me.
Nah, that makes sense.
It's my own fault for living my life the way I did for the 8 years that I did.
Fair enough. Okay, so that gives me a little bit of hope.
Yeah.
This won't be too bad.
And at the end of the day, like, if you do end up with something like that, loose skin, stretch marks, whatever it may be, it's a hell of a lot better than being unhappy at sitting at the weight you are and the health implications that being overweight can come by. I've got a client who she's lost over 5 stone now,
right.
And she's had 2 children, so she does have these kind of saggy excess bits of skin in her stomach and stuff, and it does annoy her, but when she thinks about it and the way she thinks how she used to feel and look, like it doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter at the end of the day. And if it annoys her that much, maybe she'll get surgery one day, or people can get surgery to fix these things. But I'd rather spend my money on something else and just deal with it, man.
Cool.
But
all
yeah,
right, brief sidetrack there.
That's all right.
So you've just completed 3 triathlon things.
Yeah, so 2016 and we're at.
Yeah.
So that's me. Half Ironman training start of 2018. No, 2017. What year is it now? 2019. So last year was half Ironman. 2018.
Aye.
2018. Yeah, so 2017 was the Brighton Triathlon.
Right.
2017. 13, 14, 15, 16. Yeah, 2017 was the Brighton Triathlon. 2018 was half Ironman.
Right.
So, yeah, done the Brighton Triathlon. I think it was September time, 2017. Again, went back to kind of more strength-based training for the rest of that year. And then January hit, I book half Ironman in Elsinore, Denmark, which is like 40 minutes on a train outside Copenhagen.
Okay.
Just fun. Always wanted to do Ironman events someplace cool. The ones in the UK didn't really...
No, Scandinavia's where it's at.
Didn't really inspire me that much to either go to Edinburgh or Bolton to do it, basically. So I'm like, if I'm putting all this effort in, training-wise, I'm going somewhere fucking cool.
Yeah, no.
So, yeah, Denmark looked cool. Copenhagen's easy to get to on a plane, hour and a half for Glasgow or something like that. So booked that. And six months of hard training. Went into that and went to Copenhagen, feeling good. I'd done it a bit different because I did keep a lot of strength training going, which is different. Most Ironman, long endurance stuff is mostly endurance training, obviously.
Sure.
Swim, cycle, run, and a little bit of strength training. I decided to almost do it half and half. Just the way I wanted to do it. I wanted to keep my strength. I wanted to keep my muscle that I'd spent a couple of years trying to build. I know I would not walk down the street and people would look at me and go, look at the size of him. Yeah. I'm not massive or anything like that. But from where I've been, from overweight to really skinny to then the physique I'm at, and I'm quite proud of that. And I like being strong, and I'd done it that way just because I knew I wouldn't be as fast as I possibly could. But I'm not in this to fucking win anything. I'm not in this to beat anybody else. I'm in this for personal reasons. Yeah. So all connected to my dad. If other people like yourself can look at me from what you knew me when I was younger, just, when I was boozing and not exercising, and you're now looking at me doing half Ironman, full Ironman. That shows you that if you really want to do something, it's possible.
Absolutely.
It's totally fucking possible, man. Like my friend who I interviewed the other day, drug addict, alcoholic, running sub 3 hour marathons in Egypt. Mind blown. He's only been sober 2.5 years and he's doing all this stuff, you know. It's just to show other people what is possible, that we can change no matter where we're at. And it takes a lot of hard work, takes a lot of sacrifice.
Yeah, it's not like the fake before and after images on everything.
Of course, man. Of course. I'm not going to sit here and say it was easy or that doesn't affect other areas of my life, being this dedicated to stuff. But it is what it is. So yeah, went to Denmark and I done the half Ironman. So the distances I said for Ironman, it's literally half everything. So it's 2 kilometre swim, 90 kilometre cycle and a half marathon. So I'd done that in 6.5 hours. Should have been just over 6, but I came off the bike with a great bike time. Swim went really well, bike went superb.
Right.
Came off the bike, stomach cramped, terrible. Felt so ill, man. I could hardly run the first 10k. It was
just power
awful.
through it, or just
Had to just power through it, man. Again, I was doing it as charity, British Heart Foundation for my dad.
Sure.
Spent literally hundreds and hundreds of pounds on equipment, flights, accommodation. Entry fee was £250, you know, it's a lot of money. I'm like, I cannot stop. Trying to make myself sick. It just felt so bad, man. But I powered through it and done in 6.5. If my stomach didn't feel like that, again, I probably would have done it a lot quicker. But I did tell myself before it ended under 7 hours I'd be happy, so I can't complain at 6.5. It was a great day, great weekend, great few days in Denmark. That's, you know, getting to see these parts of the world through exercise is a great plus for me. And then that was it. It was time to practice for the big one, get ready for the big one.
See, I think maybe it was then, because I was obviously following you on like your social media when you did that one, and then it just seemed the training just ramped up like massively.
Crazy.
That, because it was noticeable. It wasn't just like, oh, you're posting at the gym, like your post that you're doing just now. It was you are doing crazy ass cycles, 40 odd miles, wherever it was, somewhere, and it was every day. It wasn't just like
twice a day.
I was tired. I cycle 6 miles to my home from here every day, and that's like that's plenty. But no, that's so why. So it ramped up, and you didn't have time for anything else. It was just training.
I wouldn't say I didn't have time for anything else.
Yeah.
You
managed to fit it in your life, all that training with going on to Ironman.
Yeah, the beauty of my job is that I work split shifts. I work in morning and I work in the evening, so I take a big chunk of the day for myself to train and to do paperwork, finances, learn, all that kind of stuff. But for those 6 months, it was like finish with my last morning client at say 12, train, maybe in the gym, hours weights, eat, drink a lot of water, maybe do a bit of work, drink a coffee, go to a coffee shop, chill, and then do my Ironman training, which would be during the week would be shorter intense stuff like interval running, interval bike, or just get in the pool and swim. And that was like that through the week. And then weekends, I take weekends off work. Weekends were the big cycles, 40, 50 miles, swimming in locks, swimming open water, running 10, 12, 15 k.
Open water swimming?
Love it.
Yeah?
So good.
Initially
scary. It's always scary a wee bit. It's cold in Scotland.
Wow. Even
in the summer, it can be quite cold. But I love it, man. You feel alive. Like you're in a pool and you're just up and down, up and down, up and down. There's maybe like pensioners doing water aerobics beside you, you know. It's quite boring, man. Pool swimming can get very boring. Hence why I have a waterproof iPod thing, which really helps me. But yeah, open water. I'm lucky enough to have a friend, Amanda, who does Ironman, and she lives out Alloa way.
Okay.
Stirling Way.
Sure.
And she knows all these amazing places, these locks, up Calendar and things like that.
Yeah.
So I'd go out to her bit, she'd take us up and we would go swimming in these amazing places. And
so I suppose taking a break and something like that, and you got the views around you.
Views.
More,
the water is, as much as it's cold when you first go in, it's fresh.
Yeah.
It feels great. You're like, you know, I've went from, this is me when I'm doing it. I'm thinking to myself, I've went from a place where I don't have a reason to live, I feel worthless, I hate myself, to I'm swimming in a lock, feeling fit, training for a crazy event. I feel alive, I feel amazing. This makes me happy.
Fair enough.
It's great. It's hard work.
Yeah.
It's tough going. There's been a couple of open water swims where it's been raining, it's been cold, and I just haven't wanted to get in the water. There was classes up at Pinkston, up at Port Dundas, which John Dargate, Pro Endurance Coaching, really good guy. He's helped me a lot through my training. He does open water classes April to September.
Right.
Talking 6 a.m, 7 a.m s in a canal in Glasgow. Some of those sessions were rough, and that moment where you're standing on the edge on your wetsuit, cold, and you need to jump in this cold water at 7 a.m, man. Yeah. It's not a good feeling. And you go in, and it's still not a good feeling, and it's horrible.
It doesn't get any better.
It doesn't get any better. But you keep swimming. You start swimming, and 5 minutes, 10 minutes in, the coldness isn't there anymore, and it's great.
Awesome.
And then I get out of the water, it's like 8 a.m, and I've not even started my day yet, and I feel on top of the world.
See, open water swimming has never been a thing that I've never looked at a log and thought, fancy swimming out.
No?
Not sober, no. But like, well, yeah, but I've never had the so much effort. Just very lazy. I just need to get
well, I mean, to be fair, like, before I started triathlon training, I never thought of that either, in all honesty. I'd always look at like pictures of people on holiday abroad in the sea and stuff and think, I'd love to go like, swim in the sea and stuff. And that was, I went to a stag do during my half Ironman training in Barcelona.
Right.
And they're all getting pissed on the beach, and I'm in the water swimming with my goggles on, fighting the waves, doing half an hour training.
See, that would be, I think maybe I would do it in those temperatures, in that kind of climate. That would be a bit more, you could get out of the water and you're not freezing to death. It's actually nice, quite sunny. You can chill and
it's
relax.
Nice. It is nice. Yeah, but the training, so that was the kind of training, man. It did it, as you say, it totally ramped up, and I documented it all on my Insta stories, and I was feeling like trying to inspire people, but then I'm thinking to myself, is it too much? I tried to make a point of saying, I'm not telling folk to train like this. This is just what I need to do for what I'm trying to achieve. I'm not saying train twice a day, 6-7 days a week. But what I'm saying is, if I can train 15, 20 hours a week, can you do 3? Yeah, sure. Probably can.
Yeah.
And that's all we're looking for staying fit and healthy and weight loss, fat loss,
I think there is a very good fine line between somebody who's got a product like you, who can sell it really well, but is also living it and doing it really well. People can see that, and it's not too much. It's genuine. That makes sense. And then there's some people who I've had to work with recently, I won't say, but who are just ramming it in your face constantly. And it's I'm not a big motivational Monday, wellness Wednesday type person. That I see the cringiness of it. I can get over that really quick. I'd rather just have somebody like you who's just said, like, we're going to do this today, and that's it. I try my best to not come across like that. Yeah. Like, you have to be motivational, but not.
If you're not up on Monday acting like a shark, you're an idiot. Like, I hate that stuff, man. It's like, Monday's Monday, man. Folk fucking have just came off a weekend, probably aren't feeling great, It is what it is. It's like, you don't have to be out at 7 a.m. runs and like, eating out of Tupperware every Monday morning to be doing well, but.
Do you ever look at any other like PTs and stuff like that and think, what the fuck are you doing? What are you talking about?
People probably look at me and think that. Other PTs will probably look at me and think this guy talks pish, or, I'm very emotional in some of my stuff. Like, I'm, especially with the Ironman stuff, it was all so, it meant a lot to me, man. It was an emotional thing. Every single day was an emotional battle of pushing myself to my limit, trying to prove to myself and to my dad that I'm not this idiot anymore, and that I can do this. And that might sound crazy to people, because this was like, my dad died 7 years ago and I only done the Ironman this year, and I'm still saying I'm trying to prove myself. But that's like when I told myself after the second triathlon I'm going to do an Ironman one day, when I had to hold myself to that, and I had to prove that I could do it. And raising money for the British Heart Foundation, and never drinking again, and trying to be someone who isn't it's hard to explain. It's very hard to get through what it meant to me.
Sure.
I've tried my best to convey that in my social media posts without sounding like a lunatic, you know. That's what I'm saying. People would maybe look at my posts and go, why is he like getting so emotional over a run? But that's just what it meant to me, man.
Yeah, no, 'cause, I mean, you've never hidden the fact that the emotional story behind it. It's a big thing, and I think everyone who's been through that before can even just look at that would go, well, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Well, this is a big thing that's dedicated to that. That makes sense.
Yeah.
It's the crazy end. It's like the actual crazy people who go tonto with it for no reason or just because they want the likes or the social media or just all that.
Yeah.
Rubbish.
Anything I've ever posted on social media has tried to help people.
Yeah.
Not for likes. Like, it's very hard to... I'm sitting talking about it comfortably because I've done it so much now, right? But it's still hard to put yourself out there, like, so openly for all those people. Like, anybody could look at my page. It's a public profile. Anybody can look at it, you know, and... it's hard to put these private emotional kind of things out. I know that a lot of people will get something out of it,
sure,
and that's why I do it. But there's also going to be people probably looking at it and thinking I'm talking shit or like I'm an idiot or whatever. But over the last kind of 6 months to a year that I've been doing the Ironman stuff and like being open about why I'm doing it and what it means to me and how hard I'm pushing myself, blah, blah, blah. I've never had so many people people don't know, message me to say, you've really helped me. I've started training because of your posts.
Yeah.
I've cut back on alcohol, or I've stopped drinking, or you've made me think about some things, you've made me get help. I've had those messages, people that I don't even train or coach, a lot of those messages, man, and that makes putting myself out there totally worth it.
Absolutely.
You know, because as I said, it's hard to admit your problems sometimes, and it's hard to open up.
Yeah.
So by me, a 32-year-old guy, doing that, well, yeah, I might look like I'm doing well now and that I'm fit and healthy and all the rest of it, but for people to know that I've got through that kind of stuff, tragedy and, you know, problems with booze and stuff like that obviously helps them, because, you know, they can say to me, someone they don't know, I'm working through some issues and you've really helped me with that. Like the podcast I done with John, a lot of people messaged me after that podcast.
You think starting the podcast has helped you quite a lot?
Yeah, definitely, man. Especially some of the more open ones, you know, like the one with John. We both openly discuss our problems with booze and how stopping has helped us. Look at my life, look at his life, and a couple other ones that folk have said that, wow, that was really good, you know. And the one I've just done there will be launched tonight or tomorrow. Will hopefully be the same,
cool.
You know. So it definitely has.
Awesome. So we're getting sidetracked quite a lot from the Ironman.
It's okay.
You're doing the training. It's intense. Where do you think, at any point of doing the training, you thought, this isn't worth it, or this is just not? Did you hit a wall at any point during the training, or did
full
you
Ironman?
Up to the full Ironman, yeah.
Yeah. So the half Ironman was tough,
and
a lot, but it wasn't anything compared to the full Ironman training. The last 7 months, well, the January to July, it's been hard, man. You know, it's been worth it.
Yeah.
And I'm so happy I'd done the Ironman, but it wasn't easy, mate. And I tried to be honest with that on social media. I did not want to go through that, feeling the way I did sometimes and be like, this is great, I'm loving this every day, I feel amazing. Because I didn't, you know. I felt amazing a lot of the time, and the training was, you know, that type of training does make me feel a certain way, and it helps me with my problems and my mental health and everything. But when you take it to that extreme, yeah, man, it got really hard, and in all honesty, other aspects of my life suffered, man. There was definitely some training, some cycles especially, where I was like, how the fuck am I going to do this? You know, I'm doing 100k today, and I've got to do 180 in a couple of months, and I'm dying. I feel like I can't go on,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and it was really hard to wake up the next day and keep pushing yourself, because you just feel like, not saying I would ever give up, but I felt like giving up, but I did feel like,
I mean, it's a huge task.
I felt like I wasn't good enough. I was out with, again, I chose to do it different, maybe a bit stupid, but I wanted to, again, keep my strength training in, keep my weights in, not do all cardio, because I felt like I would end up kind of resenting that a wee bit if I was just doing all cardio, because the weights and the CrossFit side of stuff now is such a massive part of my training, and I love it, so I didn't want to just like ditch most of it, so I'd done it a bit different. And those times I was like, I'm not going to be able to do this because I'm not cycling as much as I maybe should be, or I'm not running as much as I maybe should be. I was going out with other cyclists and like they were smoking me, like, you know, lagging behind, struggling to keep up, and obviously in those moments I should be telling myself what I tell my clients. It doesn't matter if people are better than you, it doesn't matter if people are beating you or faster than you or stronger than you, you are you. You just got to do what you. And I did tell myself that, and that's what got me through it, but it wasn't easy. It was hard going, man. And like, you go out on the bike for 3-4 hours and sometimes 5-6 hours, and I just felt like didn't have any energy to do anything after it.
It's a lot of commitment into something.
And I was
build up for something for sure.
And I was coaching full time essentially, on my feet at work a lot, coaching people. Still had to stay. Obviously, that's the main thing for me: my work, my coaching, the training. I'm not a professional athlete. I do it for a hobby, for personal reasons. So,
were you doing the band stuff as well at this time?
I wasn't doing the band stuff, but I decided, some crazy thing took over me, and decided to do a charity fundraiser solo gig.
At Block. Yeah.
Pop punk, not karaoke, pop punk throwback night.
Sure.
Something that I'd always wanted to do for years, and I thought, I'm never going to pick up the balls to do this, because I'd always been in bands, I've never played by myself. I was like, this is an ideal opportunity because you're fundraising for this big thing.
Yeah.
I was thinking to myself, how can I get extra fundraising on the go? And I'd done a blog for the Mental Health Foundation through how music and exercise helped with my mental health. So I wanted to do a bit more for them alongside the British Heart Foundation. So I decided to do this email block, and I was just now one of those days you're like walking down the street and you feel super fucking motivated and you're like, I can do anything. And I was like, fuck it, I'm just going to email them and see if they'll do it. And I emailed them. I was like, I want to play this gig for charity. It's pop punk, played in bands before, so I could get a decent crowd, I think. Let me know what you think. And they're like, yeah, cool. July 11th is free, Thursday night, done, booked. All of a sudden, I've got a gig to practice for as well.
Just to add that on to everything else.
To add it on to everything else. So I was like working, training a lot, practicing for a gig, trying to hold up some sort of personal life, which didn't really happen. But
no, you put all that stuff together, there's no way you can't do a work-life balance successfully. And when you through all of that,
it was hard, and but it was hard. There was times where I felt low, you know, physically and mentally. There was times it was really tough, but
the gig went well.
Gig went amazing, man. It was like, honestly, so much fun, and again, there's times I'm sitting trying to practice for that, and my throat's fucking shite, can't sing great, and it's like I've worked and trained for like 12 hours, and I'm going straight to the studio to practice this for this gig, and I'm on my way to the studio, I'm thinking, why the fuck am I doing this, man? I just need to go home and go to bed. And I'm in the studio for like 2 hours myself, practicing and singing, and I'm like,
which even in a music sense is quite hard to motivate, especially when you've been used to bands and people around you playing.
I did ask Andy McKenzie for help, because I'd done my first couple of practices and I was like, oh, it sounds a bit empty. So I messaged Andrew, my friend who I used to play in bands with, who also has just won a battle with alcohol problems.
Awesome.
and yeah, he agreed, and we only practiced together once a week, about 6 weeks leading up to the show. So all the other practices I was on my own.
Sure.
But me and him went into Berkeley on a Sunday and ran through everything. But it was amazing. Like, we pulled it off. Block was rammed. It was like I was overwhelmed by the amount of people that were there. Everyone from the gym came. A lot of my close friends came, and it was just a fun night. All worth it.
Good.
All worth it, because just like, man, I've played in bands where you bust your ass, and it means a lot to you, and you go and there's 10 people there, and they're just sitting watching you, and they don't give a shit, or they don't look like they give a shit, and you think, why am I spending all this money and effort to play in front of 10 people that probably don't even like what they hear,
But it leads up to these moments where you then can get.
But we pulled it off, and it was one of the best nights ever. There was folk singing, dancing, coming up on stage and singing with me. As I said, it was rammed. Didn't start till 10 p.m. So I was like, everybody's going to be away home by the time I start. I've played 2 45-minute sets, so played an hour and a half. Wow. And yeah, man, it was just amazing.
Good.
So good.
So you're managing to balance all of this successfully?
I'm managing to balance it successfully. Not too sure.
Fair enough. Did you get up to when was the?
So it was July 21st.
Right. Okay. So not actually that far after the gig as well.
No, it was like we were so close together. That was the kind of point. I wanted it to be close, because it was all the lead up to I'm going to Switzerland to do my first Ironman and raising money for British Heart Foundation. The gig was Mental Health Foundation and British Heart Foundation.
Okay, so that makes sense.
Yeah, so the gig, we raised over £500 for Mental Health Foundation, and some for British Heart Foundation as well.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I was overwhelmed by that. It was crazy. I was like, if we get a couple £100, that'd be amazing. There was over 500 quid in the bucket.
Sorry, can edit that.
Get that in silent.
It is on silent. So between the gig and you going to Switzerland for the Ironman, did you calm down the training leading up to it?
Yeah.
Just to kind of mentally get yourself there, or is it just...
Actually, because you need to taper.
Right.
Which is cut everything back like a couple of weeks before the event, because you can't go in hurt, sore.
Sure.
Normal training, you get muscle soreness, fatigue. Can't have that. You need to be fresh. So, July 11th was the day of the gig. That was actually the last long run I had as well.
Okay.
I ran, I think it was like 15 kilometres or something, 20 kilometres, some half marathon maybe.
Right.
That was the last long one. So played the gig and then the taper started.
Okay.
So yeah, kept training, but it's just nothing on what I was used to. No real weights. Again, don't want to be sore, don't want to risk injuring myself.
Sure.
So it did calm down for a week before I flew out, and then I flew out on the Wednesday, and the event wasn't till the Sunday, so I had a few chilled days in Switzerland, nice weather.
Cool.
I say sleep, but it was too hot and nerves and stuff, hardly slept.
Yeah, no, that's given for what was going to happen.
Yeah.
So you've prepared all this time, you're relaxed, you get to Zurich, or was it in Zurich in Switzerland?
It was, yeah.
Zurich, on the day of the morning, feeling fine? No nerves?
Oh, no.
No nerves? Just relaxed, chilled?
Oh, man.
Wetsuit on, went easy.
So I went on the Wednesday. My pal Johnny came over with me.
Oh.
Got there Wednesday, kind of late. So Thursday, man, it's so hot. It is roasting. And I'm like, shit. Because I'm not used to training in the heat. And I thought Switzerland would be kind of mid-20s.
Yeah.
But Europe was having this heat wave. The week before we went, it was 37 degrees. And I was like,
yeah, fuck
I'm not, like, flat out, I will not be able to run a marathon in that or cycle for whatever. So I was worried, but when we got there, it was down like 30, 31.
Oh, easy.
Still roasting. Yes. But on the Thursday morning, I went out at 5k. I felt amazing, man. So good. I mean, it was roasting, and it was hot, but I ran really well, paced really well, and I wanted to keep going, but I knew I had to keep it cool and not do too much. But so that was great. Tried to eat as best as we could. So expensive there, man. The most expensive place I have ever been by a mile. So Yeah, that wasn't great, but I was actually going to do a bit of travelling after the Ironman through Europe and stuff. I hadn't booked a flight home,
Sure.
but I spent all my money, so I couldn't. But yeah, on the Friday, chilled. Saturday, I went to the Ironman site.
Okay.
They've got the expo. There was like a triathlon going on, like an Olympic distance triathlon going on that day. Stella, the woman who I work with, she'd come over to be with me as well through the race.
Yeah.
My bike I paid a courier to take my bike. It was an official Ironman service. They come pick your bike up in Glasgow. They take it over for you.
Okay.
You pick it up the day before the race. Because in Denmark I'd done it myself, and that was a shit show, man. I had to take apart my bike, put it in a bike box, which is like still massive and really heavy. I had to get that to Edinburgh Airport, so don't drive. I had to get a bus. Need to get it on the special luggage thing. To pay extra for that. It's more expensive than my flight. Then need to get to Denmark, need to find the bike, take it out in this box, get it in a taxi to the hotel, put the bike back together yourself. And I'm not a bike mechanic, man. I suck at these things. So I then had to take it to a shop and pay for it to get serviced to make sure it was running okay. And then take it to the site. Then after the race, you need to take it back to your apartment. You need to take the bike apart again. You need to pack it and you need to get it home.
That is a
brutal.
Farce. Yeah.
Brutal. So this year, I paid a little bit extra and just got a courier service. And it was worth it. Because literally got there on the Saturday. The bike is waiting for me. Built. Tyres blown up. Everything.
Excellent.
Take it as practice cycle. Make sure the gears and all that are working. And then you rack your bike at transition. Which is your transition point is where you have your bike, your wetsuit, your running shoes, helmet, food, water, all that kind of stuff on the day.
Sure.
So that actually stays there overnight.
Okay.
So I didn't get to register and transition and everything set up and transition until like 5-6 p.m. And the race starts at 6:30 on the Sunday. So I'm thinking to myself, I need to be sleeping by 9-10 o'clock at earliest. No, at latest.
Yeah.
And I need to get up at 3:30 to eat. Because I need to eat in the morning and I can't eat too close to swimming.
Sure.
So I have to get up at 3:30 in the morning, 4:45. So we get back to the hotel. I'm going through all the rules, make sure I've got everything packed. Turned my phone off because I've been sending me messages. And I go to bed at like 9:30. I fell asleep at 1 in the morning. Couldn't sleep.
Nah.
Roasting. Nervous, thinking about it all, couldn't sleep. So I got like 2.5 hours sleep. Got up, wasn't hungry, had to eat, had to force a bowl of muesli down me, a bit of bread, a banana, fruit juice, and it was absolutely pissing the rain. It hadn't rained one drop since we got there. It was blue skies, no clouds, total sun, 30 to 33 degrees every day, and it was pissing the rain. It was dark. I was tired, I was nervous, I felt sick.
Sounds like fun.
And I'm standing at the transition point at 5:30 in the morning, soaking wet because there's no roof or anything, it's just outdoors. And I'm just like, fuck my life. Man, I wasn't in a good headspace at all. Not at all.
That's one that's very early to get up, especially ahead of all of that. But not sleeping the night before. That's going to be...
It wasn't good, man. But also, I'm just I'm just like nervous, man. I'm just like, so many people are supporting me. So many people. It's overwhelming. The messages, the donations. It was like, I can't remember, man. £1,300 maybe.
Yeah, you smashed the target. And then
way over 1,000 anyway of donations for the British Heart Foundation. Stella's paid money to come over. Johnny's paid money to come over. My whole social media for the last 6 months is me building up to this moment, and I'm like, what if I don't fucking do it? Because there is cut-off points at every part. There's cut-off point at the swim, the cycle and the run, but if you don't make it by that time, you're done.
All right.
Because you need to finish it in the time limit, or you don't get your medal, you don't get to finish the race.
Okay.
Also cost me £500 to enter.
Yeah,
600 Swiss francs, which is probably like 550 or something like that.
Fuck's sake. All right, so you had to finish. Yeah.
A lot of money, flights, accommodate. I was just like, you doubt yourself, man. There's no matter how much you prepare for these things, you're always going to have self-doubt at some point.
Sure.
And it was always the bike for me. It was always like, I'm not the best cyclist for one. I'm 90 kilograms, which is quite heavy for a triathlete, a cyclist.
Okay.
Bike can break. You know, you can fall off your bike. The chain can break.
Mm-hmm.
Get a puncture. Some of these things can be fixed, some can't. There's been half Ironman triathlons. I've seen people had to stop because they fell off their bike and their bike is broke, or they're at the side of the road trying to fix a puncture, and that's stressful. So stressful. I'm terrible at these things. See, like bike maintenance and mechanics, I'm so bad. It's partly my own fault because I've never properly sat down and like proper looked into how to like fix a broken whatever.
Sure.
I knew how to fix a puncture. I had tubeless tyres, so I had wee CO2 canisters in my bike bag where I would put into the pump bit, you release, and it blows up the tyre. Because they're tubeless, you spin the tyre, lubricant comes out, seals over the puncture, and you should be good to go.
Okay.
But if it's a bad enough puncture, that might not fix it.
Yeah.
So my big worry is, I know I'm going to finish the swim. I'm not bad at swimming. It's not the longest part by any means.
Mm.
Am I going to A, get through the bike with no bad things happening?
Mm-hmm.
And B, am I going to make the bike cut off in time? Because there's a lot of climbing in this race. There's a lot of hills.
Right.
I'm not the best with hills. And the heat, it's just been incredible since I got there. So I knew the sun was going to come out at one point.
Sure.
So it was just worry. It was just worry, man. And at that point, and it was dark and it was raining, all those things. I was like, not feeling great.
No, I mean, I didn't even think of. I suppose it'd be even worse if what put you out was something like happened to the bike and not you physically, because you could physically run the rest of the way and probably but the actual bike malfunction. That would be more frustrating, I think, than.
I seriously think that would have fucked me up if that happened.
Yeah.
Like the effort I put in and all the money and the emotional side of finishing this race. See if it was a bike issue.
Yeah. But the bike survived.
Yeah.
Was the bike the middle part?
Yeah, so
right.
Swim, cycle, run.
So you smashed the bike bit.
So I get my wetsuit on.
Right.
Go for a test swim in Lake Zurich. Beautiful. Amazing. We'd been swimming in the lake a couple of days before. You probably saw him on Instagram.
Yeah.
Amazing, man. So beautiful. Test swim, water feels good. It's warm. Johnny and Stella are there. They're like taking pictures and encouraging me. Get to the start line. Pissing myself in my wetsuit, like literally.
Yeah, well, I mean, if there's one place you can do it, it's in a wetsuit.
So nervous. And then I hear this guy beside me talking, and he's Scottish. I was like, "Are you from Scotland?" He was like, well, they weren't actually. They're actually from England, but they lived in Edinburgh.
Right.
So I got talking to them, and that was like good because it was distracting me from the nerves and stuff. And then it was like, go, but they let 5 people on at a time.
Okay. So
because I'm like not a professional, I'm not the fastest. I put myself quite far to the back of the line.
Sure.
So it's maybe 10 minutes before we actually get in the water.
Right.
And then I'm in the water. That's it. It started. It was like I felt good though. I felt relaxed. The water felt good. My stroke was good. The swim was class, man. Really enjoyed it.
I've always had the fear of looking at those things where you see 20,000 people jump to like the sea at the same time in the cycling. I just think I'm going to get smacked in the face with someone's foot. I'm going to get punched in the face on the way, and then I'm going to get trampled and drown, and it's not fun. It doesn't look fun, obviously, but I mean you do obviously get injuries with it. But most of the time, if you got a good technique, you're fine.
Technique's good, but the way they do the Ironman swim starts, or that they do them different in different Ironman, I think. But this one was good because it was a staggered start.
Sure.
So you're in a line, and as I say, 5 people in the water at a time. Whereas the triathlons I'd done in London and Brighton, you're all in the water at the same time, floating, and it's like go, and everybody has to go. That's when like you're in a crowd and there's feet off your face. There's people slapping your feet.
Yeah.
People sometimes get dunked under and stuff. It's not nice, especially like the first one I done. As I said, I didn't have a clue what was going on. Right. I was rubbish at swimming and stuff. That's where my breathing went. I was panicking. But with this one, I mean, there was 2,000 people doing it, so it was still a lot of people in the water at the same time.
Sure.
You still get kicked in the face sometimes. You still swim into people. It's uncomfortable at parts. But yeah, no, swim went great. I actually swam 400 metres extra by mistake because it's really wide, obviously, because there's so many people. They need to have it quite wide, but what happens in open water is you can drift off to the side. So I was like zigzagging at points. So I looked at my watch and I came out and I'd done 4,200 metres instead of 3,800. So I was 10 minutes off my predicted swim time, but then that made sense because I'd done an extra 400 metres.
Fuck.
So it was at 10 minutes extra swimming, which isn't the ideal.
Sure.
But it's not the end of the world either.
Okay.
So wetsuit off, transition, protein bar, Tana bottle of Lucozade, banana. I've got my tri-suit on underneath the wetsuit, so that's already on.
Okay.
Cycle shoes on, helmet on, out you go on the bike. 112 miles, 2 loops of 56 miles.
Was it at least a decent ride? You said it was quite hilly all the way through there, was it?
Yeah, so the first 30 kilometres, so maybe the first hour, was quite flat. But this is still really early, obviously. I started at 7 in the morning, and so I'm on the bike 8:30. So it's still quite early, still pissing around. So I had to be sensible, because on the flats, when you go fast to get your time up.
Sure.
But I'm literally seeing people crash and bikes breaking and stuff already 20 minutes in. Oh. So I had to play it sensible, not go too crazy. But it was flat for the first hour, and then the sun comes out, it dries up, and the hills start in the countryside, and it's brutal.
Fact.
Roasting, man.
But good views.
Oh, incredible. Looking around, like, Zurich is absolutely amazing in terms of how, just as a place, it's beautiful, man. You look at it, that's part of this training. Like, even training out in Scotland, you're out these training sessions, and it's hard going honest, but you look around you and you're like, fuck, this is amazing. Yeah. I'm out here doing this instead of sitting in the house boozing or, sleeping with a hangover on a Sunday morning, Aye. That's part of the beauty of doing all the training, So, yeah, I'm cycling and I'm looking about, and it's just incredible, but it's super hard, man. So, we got into the climbs, and there's aid stations every hour or something. You get hit with an aid station, they're passing you water, sure. Bits of banana. As you're cycling, you just need to hand out. I've got bottles on my bike, I've got a bag on my bike which has got flapjacks and gums and stuff in it, because you need to keep fueling throughout the race. Yeah. Or you're going to burn out with no energy. So, it's getting tough. My hamstring starts to cramp really bad. My hip goes, so I get to a point it's just too sore. I had to go off the bike, stretch for like 2 or 3 minutes. Helped a little bit, but not really. I was in quite a bit of pain at this point, but I just had to block it out. There's nothing you can do. I'm not going to stop. No. Just had to keep going. So you get to the end of the hilly part of the first loop. You're downhill, really fucking fast downhill bit, really fun. Back onto the flat, back round towards where you started. Bear in mind it's 2 loops. Right. And you think, end of the first loop, superb. Looking at my watch, good timing. Wasn't the end. You can need to keep going, and then you go into a town, and it goes like this. Boof. Solid climb, the hardest climb of the whole loop at the very end of the loop. Oh my god, that was so bad. Yeah, but the good thing was, it's a famous part of the course. It's called Heartbreak Hill. If you Google it on YouTube, Google it on YouTube. If you YouTube it, there's videos from it. There's hundreds of people on this hill. There's bands with drums and trumpets and all that kind of stuff. All right, okay. It's a great vibe, but it's a super hard climb. So you get up that, and you're fucked. And then you're like, oh my god. And then you're like, 3 hours in, whatever. And I need to do all that again. Mentally tough, man. Yeah. Mentally tough. My legs are fucking fucked at this point.
Was it easier the second time around going on, because you knew what was coming? No. Or was it just now?
It was disgusting. Bro, it was bad, man. It was really bad. Like, I get to the end of the first loop, and Stella and Johnny obviously know I'm going to pass that point at some point. Yeah. So they're there. Okay. God, Scott, shouting, and that's a great feeling. And then you've got that next bit of flat that I was talking about at the start of the loop. But by this point, it's 12 in the afternoon, midday. The sun is like, there's no clouds in the sky anymore. Super, the sun's been smashing my neck and my back, my arms, everything for 3.5 hours. My legs are tired at this point, really sore. and then you need to do all that climbing again. And so the first set of climbing was hard, but not that bad. The second loop, the climbing,
No.
awful.
Is it painful just to think about?
Awful, man. So bad.
How was your timing though for the?
So I had to finish the swim and the cycle in 10 hours.
Right.
Sounds a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds like, oh, that's ages. But I mean, it's 112 miles with a lot of climbing for someone who's not a great cyclist. So I thought the swim would take me an hour and 20, transition 10 minutes, so there's an hour and a half. And I thought the cycle would take me about 7 hours.
Right.
So there's 8.5 hours. So I thought, loads of time.
Sure.
But the swimming a bit longer. And then the second loop of the cycle was just so tough. I think I got there. I think 9 hours it took me for the swimming cycle. So the cycle was 7.5 hours.
Fuck.
Because there was points in the climbs I was really slow.
See,
It's like
that just reeks of a sore arse after for 7 hours.
that's the least your worries, man. It's like it's the quads and the hamstrings.
Fuck that.
It's hard, man. But
I
felt really bad at one point, and I thought I was gonna just felt like shit.
Aye.
So I got to an aid station. I asked for they have bags of salt, wee sachets of salt, and I asked for a sachet of salt, and I literally ate that with some water, and I felt instantly better.
Really?
Yeah.
Fuck.
Just obviously I'd lost so much salt through my sweat. And then you finish the climbing, but you know this last climb's coming, and I've been on the bike for over 7 hours, and it's just like, oh my god.
Yeah.
So I got over that last climb. So I know my bike's made it through. The big worry is over. I've made the cut off. My bike hasn't fucked.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to get onto the run, and I know I can do a marathon within 6 hours.
Right.
So I kind of know I'm going to finish at this point.
Good.
But so it's so emotional, man. At this point, I floods of tears. Well, I'm still on the bike, but I got over that last climb, and I'm floods of tears, crying, man, with emotion. It's because I know that I've kind of made it through the bit that I thought I might not make it through.
Mm-hmm.
So just thinking, because I know back home, all my friends and family are going to be on the Ironman track or tracking me. So I know that they're watching, and I'm like, I've made it past the bit I thought I might not make it past. I'm just overwhelmed, and that overwhelmed happiness quickly turned to sheer pain because my legs were destroyed, and then I thought to myself, I need to go off this bike and run a marathon, and that was really hard. That mentally, I was close to breaking point at that point, just mentally, because I'd never run a marathon before. At this point, you don't run the full marathon distance in your training.
Sure.
And I'd never done a marathon on its own before this Ironman stuff.
Mm.
So I'm running my first marathon, 26 miles with my legs in bits, and it's 30 odd degrees. You know, it was really hard. I got off the bike, get my running shoes on, get some food down me, start my run, and I'm just in so much pain. So I start to run down this bit, and I see a Scotland flag, and it's Stella and Johnny, yeah. But I'm just not even can't even smile. I'm just like, guys, don't know how I'm going to do this. I'm kind of jogging, and Stella kind of jogs alongside me, talking to me, telling me, you see, keep going, you can do it. And so it's 4 laps of 10 point something K to get 42 kilometres, which is the marathon distance. So it's 4 laps of that. So my first lap, I actually do really well to the pace that I kind of thought I wanted to do. I think it was just an hour, which for 10K, it's pretty good without the cycle, you know. So I get past the first hour. My neck is so burning though. I put sun cream on, but I'd obviously not put enough on or missed points. My neck is really burning, so I'm coming round the first loop, and there's a guy who's already finished.
Right.
And he's got a visor, and I say, dude, can I have your hat, please? And he gave me it, thankfully, so I put his visor on, and it
covered your back.
Covers my neck. And that really helped, because the burning of the neck was really getting to me. And then the second loop, I'm feeling a bit better, mentally, because I'd done a good first loop.
Sure.
But then halfway through the second loop, man, the pain just got too much, and it was physically and mentally, it's just so hard.
I think when you think of what you've all done before at that point, with the swimming, the cycling, that's massively understandable. You're probably not even selling it as much as how bad it was.
Yeah, I'm like 12, 13 hours in at this point.
Fuck. Is there a time limit on the run?
The whole thing's 16 hours.
Right, okay.
So Ironman is usually 17 hours, but for some reason, because the run is flat, they take an hour off. Because there's some Ironman, there's hills on the run.
Right, okay.
But this was a flat run,
nice,
which makes sense for pro athletes, because they're definitely going to run that faster. But for people like me who are doing this for personal reasons, who aren't professional athletes, and I'm not an endurance athlete by any stretch of the imagination, I don't really think that just because it's flat it makes it much easier.
No, definitely not.
But it was what it was. 16 hours. So essentially, I had 6 hours to run a marathon, which I knew was fine. I knew I was going to make it, but it still didn't make it any easier putting one foot in front of the other. It was super hard at points, and got to a stage where I just had to run for 3 minutes and walk for a minute.
Okay.
Run, walk. It's just the pain was too much.
Did you see during the actual event itself people actually dropping out?
Yeah.
Doing stuff?
Yeah, especially on the bike.
Mm-hmm.
You see people walking the wrong way with the bike. They've obviously got to a point where they've either gave up or their bike is fucked.
Right.
Running wise, I was one of the slower people in the race. Cut off 16 hours, took me 15 and a half hours. And I'm coming towards the end of my last lap, and I'm seeing people starting the last lap. So really, are they going to get round that lap in half an hour, 45 minutes? Probably not.
No.
It's actually quite sad. Because imagine getting that close.
Fucking A.
I made it by half an hour. Because I knew I had... So my last lap, I had... I don't know, 2 hours or something.
Right.
Which, 10k in 2 hours, even walking, you're going to do that. So
right.
I knew I could walk quite a lot in the last lap, and the pain was that bad. I had to.
Sure.
Putting one foot in front of the other in a jogging sense just was at a point where it was just brutal, man. So it was a lot of walking on the last lap, but I knew I was going to finish it.
Right.
So I was just like, I was in so much pain, but I was so happy. I was like, I'm getting it. I'm going to get to finish cross the finish line here. And this might sound really dramatic, but there was points in the training I thought I could die doing this. That might sound really dramatic, but people do die doing these events. People's hearts fail, and because it's such an extreme thing.
Sure.
The heat, I'm not used to that heat. Is it going to be too much for me? Someone died in the swim on an Ironman like a month before I went and done mine. So people die doing the London Marathon every year.
True.
Young, fit guys. And I've come from a background of being overweight, smoking and drinking. And I'm trying to do this crazy event. So I'm like...
Added stress, you don't...
It was, and my dad died of a heart attack. So... In my head, I was like, I could die doing this. Like, very small possibility, but I could. I'm putting my body through a lot. 15 and a half hours of constant exercise. For MD's a lot, but for someone who doesn't do it as a job and has a history of abusing their body,
sure.
There was a real possibility that something might go wrong.
Did you ever have any professional tell you not to do any of this beforehand?
No, I actually had the opposite. Got told I should be okay, because I went to Hampden Sports Clinic and went through a heart health checkup. It's expensive, but I thought it was worth it.
Oh, absolutely.
Because what happened to my dad. And they hooked me up with these pads and all that all over my body, and put me on a treadmill and tell me to start slowing faster, and they take all these readings through your heart and stuff like that, and they send it to a cardiologist, and they do checks and everything to see if there's anything abnormal, basically. So I think the reason some of these people, these young fit people, you see footballers have died, the football pitch and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Phil O'Donnell from Motherwell happened 5, 6, 7 years ago.
Something like that,
in his 30s, professional athlete, drops dead during training, during a match.
That is petrifying when you think about that.
It is, but
Rare, but plenty.
Yeah, think about the millions of footballers all in the world, and it's a very small percentage it happens, but it does happen. And it was funny actually because the taxi I got to Hampden that day, got a taxi driver was like, because I was running late, so I was like, I need to get a taxi. So just like today, so the taxi driver goes, kind of guy in his 60s or something. He's like, "What are you off to Hampden for?" I was like, "Oh, I'm going for a heart health checkup because I'm doing an Ironman. My dad died of a heart attack." Blah blah. He goes, "Oh fuck, that's mad you say that." He says, "In my 50s, I went to the doctor with illness, didn't feel good, short of breath.
Right.
He sent me straight to the hospital. The guy needed a quadruple bypass on his heart.
Fuck's sake, just." Because he didn't even feel that bad.
His arteries were that clogged. He was gonna die, but because he went to doctors, not feeling good, and they got the surgery, he's now okay, and he's like in his 60s. That was 10 years ago or something, and he was fine. So thinking about this, I was like, man, it's crazy that you are driving me for a heart health checkup, and you went through that, and bonkers, man. Like if he didn't go to the doctors, he probably would have had a heart attack.
Shit. At
some point in the near future after he felt like that. Crazy, man, and this is the thing about life, we just don't know what can happen, and
fucking A.
Yeah, what are you meant to do? Never do anything in case something like that happens.
No, you're absolutely right. You should never put you off, especially something you were so passionate about as well.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Man. It's just one of those things. It's like, people say it all the time, well, you could go outside and get knocked over by a bus, and you could, you could. So I think I needed to do the check thing just to get a weight off my shoulders. Yeah. Did that mean that nothing was going to happen to me? No, but at least it was like, well, you are healthy. You've not got a default with your heart or like some underlying issue that means you shouldn't be doing this.
Yeah.
So that did help me a good bit, because I was, before that and training and stuff, it was always at the back of my mind, especially if I felt like, I remember I'd done a Spartan race half marathon, which is like a mountain trail run, half marathon distance with like all these obstacles and stuff like that.
All right.
And honestly, like
fun?
That was just for fun, aye. That was genuinely just, that was 2 months after my half Ironman. I just thought I need something else to keep me going here. But that whole race, I felt a tightness in my chest, and I'd convinced myself that something was wrong.
Yeah.
But I kept going, and I made it through, and it was fine. But in my head, I was like, this is not good, something's wrong.
Yeah, no, we're really bad at self-diagnosing, really, really bad for that. Yeah. I'm terrible for it as well. I feel a slight pain in my chest when I'm sitting at work, and because I think I'm overweight, I don't need to do as much exercise as I need to. If I feel like pain, I just freeze. And it's a small bit of panic, but then it goes away, and you're kind of like, oh, that's fine. But it's probably something I should get checked out. But it may have just been sitting.
If it happens regularly, I maybe get it checked. It was funny because I got told about a guy who had a heart attack. He was healthy and stuff. This was before the Ironman. Somebody was just telling a story. It wasn't like doing it to scare me. It was just a story, and I was there to listen. But he got pins and needles in his arm. Before the heart attack, and I remember on the run on the Ironman, I got pins and needles on my fucking hand. That was that in my head. I was like, oh God.
Could take a heart attack anyway.
Yeah. Scary stuff, man.
It'll stick with you as well, stuff like that.
Yeah, no.
Up on it.
Yeah, it's not cool.
So, you're in your last lap.
On the last lap.
Last leg.
It's dark, like mentally, and the actual weather is now dark. It's 10 o'clock at night. I've been going since 7 in the morning. People have got up, had a full day of work and whatever else, and they're now getting ready for bed, and I'm still training.
2 hours of sleep.
Aye. Yeah. But that's the thing. They always say, like, it's not the night before the event, it's the couple of nights before that, because nobody's going to sleep the night of the event through nerves. So as long as you've got a couple of decent sleeps under your belt, you'll get through it.
That makes sense.
Adrenaline and all the rest of it. Yeah. So the good thing about being shit at it is that the last hour of the event is like party time.
Okay.
So like you've seen what it's like at the setup with the finishing the cross line. They've got the big red carpet. There's a crowd. So now it's dark and it's party time. There's lights and music and the guy on the microphone and all that. But
is that help or hinder?
Oh, it's great. Like knowing you're coming into that, it's a good feeling, man. But yeah, getting towards the last lap was just waves and waves of emotion. Thinking about, I think about that stuff the whole race. Think about my dad, the way I used to be, what I'm doing, the people back home that are supporting me, people donating money, people on the tracker. It's emotional, man.
Yeah.
The fact I'd made it through, no injuries, no bad injuries. The bike made it. All the stress, everything was coming. 4 years of planning, 6 years of essentially working towards something is now you're getting to the end part, man. And it was just, oh man, can't describe that feeling. It was amazing, but also I was all over the place. I was crying my eyes out, man. I was running, literally full blown bawling and crying. And bear in mind, the public you're running along the lake at night. People are sitting drinking wine with a girlfriend and stuff. Do you know what I mean? And you're running, but I'm just crying, and I'm actually telling myself, get it together.
Yeah, but so much running through you at that point.
Yeah. Because I remember, you've probably seen the video. It's like I think the third lap. I'm going up, and Johnny and Stella are filming it, and I go up to the rail, and my head's in the rail. I'm actually I'm crying at that point in pain. And they're going, like, one more lap. And I'm going, I don't know, I can't fucking move my legs. I don't know how I'm going to do it. I'm in so much pain. So to go from that to, like, you're approaching the finish line, man, I was like, oof, what a feeling.
But when you crossed it?
So I get into the thing, so you need to go up a stretch where there's like a seats in a crowd and stuff like that. And then you go up and come back down the carpet towards the finish line where they've got the big thing with your name on it, and the guy in the mic going, "You are Iron Man." So I get into the first initial bit, and Johnny and Stella are there. They're fucking crying, you know what I mean? They're shouting, they've got the Scotland flag, this is it, this is the finish. So I see them, and I'm just like, yes, we've done it. I'm like, hold it together, man, you're not there yet. And so they run up to the balcony bit to kind of see me over the line, and I'm walking up, and there's all these people with their hands out as if I'm some sort of famous triathlete, And like, you need to say, well, thanks to all those people, because you've got these people who just are doing this at the goodness of their heart through the whole race. They're egging you on. There's people just literally standing outside their house, clapping, going, "Well done, keep going," and those people make a difference. You've got all the volunteers at the aid stations. Without those people, these races wouldn't happen, and you wouldn't have anywhere near as much kind of oomph every time some random person tell you, because you've got your name on your thing, and you hear, "Go on, Scott, keep going." You're like, yes, thank you. So I walk up and turn round to come down the red carpet, and like, I just decided to walk, just take it all in. Literally people cheering, there's music playing, and I'm coming towards the end of this thing that meant so much to me, and thinking of my dad, and it was one of the best moments of my life, man.
Was it?
You'll see the pictures, I'm kind of walking down like that, and just kind of like looking around, and then I'm crying. You can kind of see that in the pictures, but I'm not like bawling crying. I'm kind of holding it together as much as I can. And then cross the line, and the guy shouts, "Scott Craig, you are Iron Man." And I'm just look to the sky. I'm just like, "Dad, I've done it," And then just dead. I'm just fucked. This guy keeps trying to give me a beer, and I'm just like, doing this because I gave up alcohol, get away. But he doesn't know that. Sure. And he has a beer after, and he's like, "You beer." I'm like, I'm alright. And then he just kept on. I was like, and my head was all over the place. I can hear Johnny and Stella screaming. I'm just like, oh my god. And
it sounds like a roller coaster.
Mental, man, mental. What a feeling. What a day. I didn't know this, but there was a live video of the finish line. So so Stella had put it out on social media, and everybody's watching it.
Nice.
All my friends, family, they're literally watching me come over the finish line. That was it. It was done.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So when's Iron Man 2? When's the next one?
This is the thing,
Now that you've done the goal.
Man. So initially, straight after it, I'm like, never again. Like, this is the best feeling ever, but that was like the hardest day of my life, like physically.
Sure.
And the 6-7 months of training have really been brutal. It's taken over my whole life. I don't know if I'll do a full one ever again. That's what I said to myself after it. Definitely do a half, but I don't know about a full. I've struggled since I came home, man.
Yeah?
Yeah. I've really struggled.
With wanting it to do it more, or
not,
just...
I felt a bit empty.
Because there's not one on the horizon coming.
I think so, man. Like, there's that, and there's this thing that I was working towards for years, connecting it to my dad. It was something that gave me a drive and a purpose and a passion and something every single day of waking up going, you work for this.
Yeah.
I was busy to the max every day, which can be a bad thing, but I don't have it anymore. I don't have that big thing I'm working towards that I'm like centering my whole life around.
Sure.
Like my training, my work, my social media, me helping other people through doing this, make my dad proud every day I'm training, all that kind of stuff. It just isn't there now. So I came home and I've been struggling, man. I'm not gonna lie.
So what's bigger than Ironman? What would be a target that would fulfill that?
This is the thing. I don't know what the right thing to do yet is. I don't know. It's not a good idea to die. This is what everybody does. They go through these really tough things. Now, whether that be a 5k, a 10k, a half marathon, a Tough Mudder, a Spartan race, half Ironman, whatever it is, doesn't have to be an Ironman. Whatever that person's training for is hard going. If somebody's doing their first 10k, that is fucking brutal.
Yeah.
That's the 10k that they've never done before. The training's hard going. They're maybe doing it for personal reasons. They're not going to be elite runners, you know. Like I look back at my first Olympic distance triathlon and I can do that in my sleep now. But at the time, it was the hardest thing I'd ever done. You know, crossing that line was almost as tough as crossing the Ironman line, because at the time I didn't have the conditioning and stuff. So, like, you forget about what you put yourself through and how hard it all was, and like, you know, juggling everything, because you feel so good at the end. You need that feeling again. You sign up again. You do another one, or you do the next big one, which is what I've done for the last 3 years. Olympic distance, half Ironman, full Ironman. I've always had that next goal. I think it would be stupid for me to just sign up for another Ironman right now, or something bigger, because I need to remember how hard the last 7 months were.
True.
But also, what I'm coming to realise is that I drank to get away from how I was feeling back then. And now, like, I got that addiction with exercise. I took it to a level where I was doing a Ironman, and now it's not there, and I'm feeling shite. You know, I don't feel terrible. Like, I love, you know, I love work, and I train every day still, or most days, and I love training. But I'm struggling out with that at the moment, and that's the honest truth.
So if it wasn't a triathlon or an Ironman, what else could you be doing?
Well, I don't know. This is what I need to figure out on the next few while. I need to figure out some stuff.
Sure.
I think.
I mean, the work-wise is going. I mean, you
work is great.
Start off at the small gym in Bath Street. Yeah. And then you've worked up to this. It's like kind of an archway, or not?
Yeah, it's like under a bridge, under like a railway track.
But it's big and it's busy and it's constant and it's.
Yep, and it's like we've got a community in there. Yeah. You know, we're all pals, all the members of the gyms. You know, it's like your friends, and I'm busier than I've ever been coaching wise. It's all great.
So I think that is what you're doing between now and the next step is taking these people
of course
on this journey. You're telling people this story, this journey, and that's helping them do their figurative Ironman,
of course,
challenge that they're doing.
Like, coaching is like as I said previously, like that's the biggest thing for me, because the training, I'm not a professional athlete. I don't make a living off that. I'm not great at it. People look at me go, people look at me go, "You've done an Ironman," but I done it in 15 and a half hours, bud. The guys that win it do it in 8 hours.
Yeah, but they're insane.
So that's like making a living out of 8 hours, and then there's me just making it. But that doesn't matter, it doesn't matter to me. But what I'm saying is, like, coaching fulfills me. It's like, I get to give back. I get to help people the way I got helped. Because if I never got helped at the time I needed it, where would I be right now? Don't know. And I don't succeed with everyone, which is gutting. But there's people that have genuinely changed their life, or that's what they've told me, and whether that be with weight loss, whether that be with help with their mental health, whether that be with their strength, whatever goal that they've had, cut back on booze, give up booze, to help them feel better physically and mentally. That's what.
It's amazing.
That's what makes me happy, because I love helping people. It makes me feel good.
Agreed. And what's the best thing about that is what you do. It's all intertwined with each other when it comes to mental health, physical health, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
You lose the weight, everything seems to get better by miles. Yeah.
I don't think losing weight is going to be the answer to everybody's problems.
Sure.
But it can really help.
Yeah.
It's not even just like the losing weight. The losing weight is great for health reasons. Being really overweight and having high levels of body fat isn't good for you in a health sense.
Sure.
That's just facts. So in a health sense, obviously losing that weight is great, but then what comes with that is more confidence, more self-belief. Like for me, as I said, dreading summers and holidays for clothes-wise, now I can wear things I want to wear. That's great, because that makes me feel good. I feel confident, going on a stage and playing music now. I feel confident going out to the pub, because, I don't hate how I look anymore.
Yeah.
And that really helped me with my day-to-day life, obviously. But what's more important, I think, is all the other benefits that come with training. Too many people do focus training towards weight loss instead of just enjoying it. To get the mental benefits, to get the physical benefits, and what should come with that should be the weight loss. If you're eating well and stuff, which obviously you should be getting guided on as well if you're working with a coach or something.
Absolutely.
And that should be a byproduct of this healthy physical part of your lifestyle. And I think that's where that's going to change people's mental health and happiness, it's like the full package. It's just not all about losing weight. It's a really important part of it if you want to feel more confident and look a different way. But too many people focus on the weight loss, so then they lose a bit of weight and they stop doing it.
Yeah.
Going to put the weight back on. Whereas if you find a love and passion for training, you train because you want to. You train because you love it. Because it's going to make you feel better when you walk out that gym at the end of it.
See, I think that's what I was...
And that's where we need to go. So if you hate running, do not run to exercise. Sure. Because you're not going to enjoy it that much. You're going to probably feel fucked after it, feel sore, hard to recover, maybe get injured, and stop. If you pick a form of exercise that you love, like lifting or HIIT training or whatever it may be, boxing, it could be anything, cycling, you got a bike there. If you enjoy it, you should make time for it because you want to. And if you make time for it because you enjoy it, you can keep it going. That's why a big reason why I have successfully got in good shape for being overweight and kept the weight off, because before, when I used to go in the gym, when I was trying to lose weight, I was still boozing and stuff like that, I would just do anything that would burn calories, like a cross trainer or a bike or a rower. Right. And I felt good because it was exercise, but I didn't love it. It was like a grind. It was like, an hour on a cross trainer, fuck, but I need to do it because I need to lose weight. But when I went into the gym and started lifting weight, I loved that. I loved that feeling of getting stronger. I loved seeing my body change through the weights. And that's why I never gave up. Obviously, stopping drinking was like the main catalyst for being able to continue on. But
sure, but this helps.
Finding that training that I absolutely loved kept me going. And now through that, I've went through just weights to then triathlon to weights and triathlon. Now I'm doing like more of a CrossFit style training, which incorporates strength, fitness, flexibility, mobility, functional movements, all in the one. And I get to do all the shit I love in the one workout. Like, I get to run, I get to heavy lift, and I get to do some sort of cool gymnastic type thing in the one workout. And I'm getting all those training benefits in the one workout, and I love that. So even though I've been training for 6 years now, I'm thinking about training every day. I'm excited to train, and that's why I do it, because it's very easy to come off a big event like an Ironman and have this feeling like I do kind of feel like lost and empty, and just fucking not doing. But because I love, like, I'm going to be honest here, right? See the last few cycles of that Ironman training, the big long ones, I fucking kind of don't ever want to look at my bike ever again. It was so hard, so mentally tough. There was no way I was coming back from that Ironman and then going out for a 40-mile cycle. No chance, because I wasn't enjoying it by the end of it.
No.
But because I love the CrossFit style training, I'm buzzed to get back. Like, I had to take 2 weeks off after Ironman to let my body recover.
Sure.
It was horrible because I wanted to get in the gym and move and feel good. And I love training. I love doing it every day. That's why I do it. Whereas if I just kept to the Ironman stuff and I'd felt that way, I would probably have taken weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks off and kind of struggled mentally to get back into it.
Sure.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah.
We've got to find what we enjoy, because there's no point in just doing something because you think it's what you should be doing. Everybody defaults to running when they go to weight loss. Not so much now, but
I think I did that when I first started, but afterwards I was just like, no, I don't like the...
It's not efficient to lose weight if you're overweight.
Sure.
Because it's going to be hard. You're going to be,
puts you off more than
of course. If you go out for I'll go and do a 5k. 5k is tough if you're not a runner.
Yeah.
You can't just go out and run 5k. You're going to feel like shit. So, it'll put you off. Whereas diet, massive part.
Sure.
Like, you can't lose the weight without the diet, even if you're training like a demon. You need to be eating well.
Yeah, that was always my major downfall as well, was food, because my food diary was awful.
You say that, like, I remember you got the muscle food deliveries in and stuff, and you were having good lean protein and eggs and
I think if you stick to that,
shakes and stuff, and man, when you were on it, you were good, and hence why the weight fell off you.
True.
But it was when you were, I remember times when I'd see you after like a long night shift or whatever, you'd be drinking beer, like rewarding yourself with beer and stuff like that. And that's when it can start to go a wee bit kind of tits up, because it's not just having 1 or 2 beers. It's not going to ruin your diet, but it's the maybe after effects of having those couple of beers, because you're maybe not going to eat that well after it.
No, definitely.
Maybe it's going to affect your sleep. You're not going to feel great the next day. Your appetite, because you haven't slept well, your appetite's going to be different. You're going to crave junk food.
Yeah, no, still do. But it's very motivational.
I hope so.
Very motivational. No, it is, because like I said, we've seen the before pictures. We see how it is now. You've just beaten an Ironman. Something bigger and better is probably going to come out of. You're probably going to post a project on Instagram relatively soon of.
We will see.
Well, I don't know, cross-continent runs, whatever you guys.
Well, do. I think in the future, I'm definitely I love my CrossFit now, and CrossFit is competitive. There's competitions. You've probably seen the CrossFit Games documentaries on YouTube and Netflix. So I think
some of those people are insane though.
That's the standard I would love to get to. As I say, these guys are strong as fuck, but they're fit as fuck.
Yeah.
And that's what I want to be. I never want to be strong as fuck but can't run. I want to be functional. I want to be able to be...
So you don't want to get to like the bodybuilder size, you want to still be...
Not at all.
No.
Does not interest me one bit. It did back in the day when I first got into lifting.
Right.
Because that's it's what I got taught, and it's all I looked at. The bodybuilding magazines, the Instagram models. I just wanted to look like them. I just wanted to be massive. I wanted to be shredded all the time.
Sure.
And that led me down actually a bad path with it, because I was trying to be too lean, but trying to train really hard. So I wasn't eating enough, but trying to train crazy.
Sure.
My relationship with food wasn't great at that point. I was like eating really well, but not enough probably, and then binging and stuff. So it wasn't great, and my training sucked because I wasn't eating enough. Whereas now, I don't care about that stuff. I don't care about... I want to look good, but I don't care about being shredded. I don't care about being massive. I care about performing well. I care about being able to lift heavy, but still being able to go and run a 10k just because I want to.
Sure.
You know? And through living like that and doing that style of training, I've kept in the best shape I've ever been in. Without... I eat well, but I get to eat a lot of food because my training burns a lot of calories and because I'm on my feet all day. Whereas before I was like restricting food like fuck.
Yeah.
And trying to train really hard and heavy.
Just wearing yourself
feeling
out.
like shit.
Yeah.
Whereas, you know, like 40 minutes to an hour of CrossFit, I'll burn a lot of calories. 40 minutes to an hour of just lifting weights, not burn many calories at all.
Right. Okay. So I thought lifting weights did kind of...
Burns calories, obviously.
But nowhere near,
but not that many, because you're not really moving that much. You're maybe doing like, you're moving your arms up and down, lying, sitting.
So CrossFit's the way to go.
Not for everyone, if you enjoy it.
Sure.
For someone who wants to be stronger, but also fitter, and then get in better shape and be more functional and have good mobility and stuff, I would say definitely it's the best way to train.
Okay.
For someone who just wants to get massive, no, it's not.
No.
For someone who just wants to look a certain way, no, it's not. But each to their own. There's loads of different ways to train, but I think I've found the way that suits me best, and that for what most of my clients want suits them best as well, because most of my clients at the end of the day want to be in better shape.
Yeah.
They want to be healthier. That ticks all those boxes.
Sure.
You know, and if they say they just want to get stronger, then we'll do strength training.
Okay.
But if they tell me that they want to lose body fat, they want to look better, and they want to be healthier, then I mix it. Everything's where we're at.
Fair enough. So I'm going to see like a Netflix documentary soon about CrossFit and whatnot.
I doubt it, man, because those guys are just on another planet, you know.
Yeah.
Crazy feats.
Even mentally.
Yeah.
Just a few of them that are just
crazy feats of strength and endurance. But next year, there's competition for CrossFit for those who aren't at the very, very top level.
Sure.
Because you'll go to a CrossFit competition and they'll be scaled, which is guys and girls that are maybe not as fit, not as strong, but still want to compete. And then they've got intermediate, which is the guys that are pretty good. That's maybe where I would be right now. I'd probably be intermediate.
Okay.
And then you've got elite, which is guys that are so strong and so fit. I'm not anywhere near that level yet in CrossFit.
Okay.
And it'll probably take me a good while to get there. So I think like competing in CrossFit is definitely going to be something that I'm going to do maybe next year.
Sure.
Ironman in the future, I don't know, not anytime soon, full-wise. Half-wise, definitely. I want to be at a stage where I'm fit enough to just do a half Ironman just if I want to.
Just for fun.
Yeah, just like, there's a half Ironman next month, I'm going to do it.
Right.
I want to be that. I want to be there.
Something you don't have to overly train, prep for.
Yeah,
just
that's
you can
exactly
just
it.
You're already in that peak position.
Which is, again, why CrossFit's great, because it keeps me fit, as well as working on my strength and stuff. And what I found through Ironman training is a big, big love for running. You know, love it. More so for how it makes me feel.
More than cycling.
Yes. Cycling's great when the weather's like amazing and you can get a good route that's not too hilly, because I said I hate hills, they're so hard. And if you can get like a cycle path where I can get some tunes in, because obviously I can't listen to music on the roads and stuff. Cycling's quite dangerous as well. You know, you could fucking get smashed by a car at any point, fall off when you're going really fast. I do enjoy cycling, but as I said, it was getting to a point where I just wasn't enjoying it that much.
Sure.
But running, it makes me feel so alive. It makes me feel high. Yeah, in all honesty, it makes me feel fit, really fit. Because I used to suck at running, and then the last kind of year, my times have all got so good. for me, not
Yeah.
in general. Like, I know people that still smoke me on a 10k and stuff like that, but I got PBs for 5k, 10k, 15k, half marathon, all in the 6 months of Ironman training. So I think maybe running in the future, like a big feat of running type thing.
Okay.
I love the swimming as well, so I'm not going to give that up completely either.
Cool.
Just want to be an all-rounder, man. I want to do everything. I want to do everything all the time.
But that's perfect. As a coach as well, that's something that's good for other people to see.
Yeah, I like
100%.
to lead from the front and say, like, you know, I would never be telling someone how to live their life a certain way if I couldn't follow it through myself.
True.
You know what I mean? I've dieted, I've lost a lot of weight, I have gained muscle, I've done endurance sport, I know how to get stronger. I'm not the best at any of those things, but I'm good at all of them. And when it comes to helping someone do those things, I feel I'm pretty good at it because A, I've been there, I know their struggles, I know they're not fucking lying when they tell me that they just couldn't face going to the gym or they're too tired. I'm not one of these guys who's like, just suck it up and just do it. You just don't want it enough. Like, I'm not going to say that to them. There is times where I need to be firm and go, look, come on, you need to do better here. It's continually not happening. But I understand that shit's always going to get tough and people aren't always going to be 100% on it, and there's going to be times where they eat shit at the weekends and have the blowout nights with booze. It's going to happen. I understand that.
It's working that into...
Yeah, you can't do it all the time and expect good results.
Agreed.
But yeah, I feel like the fact that I have kind of done so many aspects of fitness, and I've failed at a lot of things as well. You know, I've tried things and sucked at it, but learned from it and got better at it. Like that first triathlon. Like, you tell that guy who could hardly get out the water that he was going to do an Ironman 5 years later. I told you, haha, no chance. I can't even do a 1500 metre swim without dying, never mind the whole thing. But I learned and I got better. I kept working. I never gave up and I got there.
Make it work.
Made it happen, man. Anything you want to do, we can make happen. But the question is, are we willing to sacrifice certain things? Because you can get in good shape, really good shape, by still having a good social life and eating out regularly and having some drinks and stuff like that. But if you want to do something that's like more elite and a bit and more crazy, then that sacrifice has to come in. Like, I had to prioritise sleep over going out, over Netflix, over playing my PlayStation 4. I had to choose good food most of the time. Even though I'm like, I've burned 5,000 calories today because I've trained for 5 hours. I couldn't just order Domino's because I would feel shit the next day.
Sure.
And I had to train the next day. So I had to eat good food. Eat enough, not undereat. I had to track my food every day. I had to drink enough water every day. I had to stretch so I wasn't too sore. I had to get massage every 2 weeks. A lot of money. I spent so much money on food every single week.
Intense.
But that's the truth of it. So again, I'm not going to sit here and say everyone should do an Ironman, because they shouldn't, because it's too much. You know, and I done it because I wanted to. And if someone sits and goes to me, I really want to do one, then I'll say, go for it. But I would never say to somebody, I think you should do that because it'll make you fitter, because it'd be too much.
Sounds like it would be, for sure, 100%.
But could Andy do a sprint triathlon? Of course you could.
Eventually.
You could. I'm telling you. Man, I saw guys at the Ironman who were not in good shape do it. Because mental strength is one thing, and they still obviously had the physical fitness, even though they probably weren't eating great. They still put the work in, and some of them are getting better times than me.
Fair enough. I suppose, no, you're right, mental, that's half the battle.
It is. For endurance, it's the most important thing.
Alright, so you were heavy, you were thin, you're now bulked, lean, you've done the Ironman. When are you getting the band back together? that's
Dude, nobody does that much that they would be worth the effort.
I don't think that's
true. You look at Flood of Red, and they've come back with an album anniversary, and they've sold out Glasgow, sold out London, and they've got 2 other. Nobody does that much. We could do that. We could maybe play a Glasgow show in a small venue and get a handful of people. It'd be fun, but that gig was like that for me, the acoustic one. So I was playing starting line, hit the lights, yellow card, newfound glory,
Oh, that nostalgic.
early November, that nostalgia from the youth, from the songs that we all loved.
Yeah.
And that was that kind of, because I hang on to that a lot, man. I reminisce.
It's literally what I think my YouTube playlist is. It's just like drive-through records type era of stuff and whatnot.
I still listen to that music. It still makes me very happy. It can make me sad as well, because it reminds you of times of when you were younger that maybe weren't so good, or that they were that good that you miss. Like the band stuff, I miss it like fuck. Like, you know, playing a gig and boozing.
It's fun.
I fucking miss it, man. I really miss it. It sucks sometimes that that's not my life anymore. Or that, you know, I see I go to the pub with my mates and they're getting on it and they're getting drunk and merry, and then I go home to sleep. So I get my 8 hours and they're going out to the cat house to party and have a good time, and I'm like, I wish I could do that. But then I wake up and I go and do the training that I love and I feel great, and they're dying the next day of a hangover, and who's feeling better at that point? I'm always making the right decision for me.
Yeah.
And I can never go back there, but it doesn't make it easy, and it doesn't make me not want to do it. Like I spoke about it on the podcast with Jordan the other day, like I walk past pubs daily to go to and from work, and I look in when I walk past and I crave drink. I crave to be in that pub boozing and just not giving a fuck about my health or whatever. But that's what led me down a very bad path to feeling a very fucking bad way. So it's never going to happen. I'll never do it. But those thoughts still exist.
But that can be healthy. That can make that balance. You haven't totally just shunned it away. It's there. But you can say no to it, and you can walk away and go to the gym, go to work. I built
too much, like with the business and my health and my fitness to throw it all away, because that's what I'd be doing. It's never going to happen. But yeah. But that's the thing, like, that's where I can sit and say to someone who's making the same mistakes of like, come on, I feel that as well. I feel the want as well.
Yeah.
But I can say no and use that frustration and that negative thought in my training to make me push harder, to make me more determined, to then get better results, and to keep the head right. I'm not saying all my problems are gone and I'm happy as Larry 24/7, because right now, as I said, that post Ironman, it's not how I'm feeling and struggling with some stuff. But if I was boozing, totally different story.
Fair enough.
And I wouldn't tell anybody to stop drinking that has a control on it, because you don't need to. But someone's drinking to excess constantly, blacking out constantly, spending all their money, doing shit they regret, feeling like shit all the time, being depressed for days after, affecting their work, affecting relationships with people, has to stop, man.
I need help.
It has to stop, because you don't have to be drinking all day every day to have a problem. That's what a lot of people think. I'm not that bad because I'm not drinking every day. Doesn't mean you've not got a problem. Doesn't mean it's not got a hold on your life.
True, and clearly it does.
Yeah. What would happen if that person who says they ain't got a problem because it's not happening every day, like a alcoholic, suddenly fucks up at work because of booze and loses their job? What happens then? Do they then drink every day? And it's too late. That's what would have happened to me, I think. If I, as I said, I always managed to hold down my job. If I ever lost my job, my attitude would have been, I'm a fucking dick. Fuck this. I'm worthless. I would probably would have went to boozing all the time, and then who knows from how you going to get another job. So it's like, that's how John lost his job. Booze. At the time, he's pulled it together back now, but it was too late for him, and when it came to that job,
he's had that incident that's happened.
He's had that rock bottom of fucking up so bad that he had to stop. You
ever thought running across deserts?
No, it's too hot. I'd rather run across, I don't know, mountains or
something not too tropical. But,
Yeah, the heats really makes everything so much harder. I remember going out a 5k and I was going to do a 10k in Florida once, and it was it was 5k and I stopped. It was too hot. I love the heat. I love the sun. I actually prefer the summer for training and getting outside because I love the sun and I love that warm weather. But when it gets to that point where it's so hot, oh man, like it makes everything so much harder. But it does feel better. I mean, waking up, I remember starting Ironman training in January and there was snow and stuff. It's just like, fuck off. Like, I still went outside.
Loved every minute of it.
I did in the end, but it's that getting out, that's the hard bit. And that's where people fall back, because it's that initial getting there, it's the hard bit.
Agreed.
Too tired, weather's shit, it's cold, it's rainy, blah, blah, it's that. But once you're there, everything's fine. It's like, you get into it and you feel good, but it's just the initial. What is it they say? Getting the hardest part of the gym is going through the front door or something like that.
Absolutely.
And that's where if you fix that, get a coach. That's the thing. Like, that's where everybody needs accountability. Well, most people need accountability. That's where so many people go wrong. They refuse to admit they need help. They don't want to spend the money on it, whatever it is. But for most people, that's what it's going to take to get you to the next level. Because
100%.
see if you don't have anything to answer to, what's to stop you from getting those takeaways every weekend or going out and getting pissed?
It was literally coming and giving you my weight sheet every day. It was just like, oh no, I can't do that because that'll fuck that up and then that'll be a negative. And that was probably the only reason I lost weight, is knowing someone was holding me against it at that point.
And that's 100%. What I'm
100%.
talking about at the very start of the podcast with training. You train with someone else, you work harder because there's somebody there pushing you. It's the same with the diet. If you have issues with food, that you lack control of eating the right things, eating too much, eating junk food and boozing too much, whatever it may be, if you lack that control, you're never going to fucking change it on your own. No. Unless something like really bad, like for me, something really bad happened in my life and that was a catalyst for fucking changing everything. But even then, I still got a PT. I got a coach for my Ironman training. And I eventually sacked him off because he was not doing what he was supposed to be doing. But I got a coach because I wanted that accountability, somebody to answer to. I would have done it myself, but I thought better to answer to someone. Because there will be days I wake up and can't be asked.
No, fair enough.
So accountability is so important. It's like a month's coaching for most people is the same as a heavy night out or a new pair of shoes.
Exactly. Well,
What's more important? Do you know what I mean?
And I think that's what I've kind of realised recently, that is, you do have to prioritise that. Even if it's just come down to money, that is, you're absolutely right.
Understand that some people, it'll be tight money-wise, they can't afford it. But if you're a full-time job making a decent wage, probably you can't afford it.
Yeah, and those few sacrifices you make, like that, take away every other.
Yeah, of course, man. Like when I go out with my pals, and I'm like, how much money have you spent tonight? Oh, £100. That's almost a full month's coaching by a good coach. Yeah. You know, I rarely buy fancy like clothes and trainers and stuff like that because I want to spend my money on food, good food, like training stuff and. You know, if I'm buying shoes, it'll be new training shoes and stuff like that. You know, that's just how I choose to prioritise my spending.
You're on yourself, like your well-being, your whatnot. Yeah, no, it makes so much more sense. Yeah, and it's just like, if I even counted up how much money I spend on coffee a month, I could probably cut that back, make my own coffee, and afford whatever else I could to improve my coaching work or my own training, or just to like save for a holiday, or whatever it may be. Yeah, I know that there's something there that if I need to, I can cut back on. I'm stupidly spending money on. There's other things as well. I get a lot of sports massage, quite expensive, but it's not necessary. Right, it's great. It does me a world of good, but it's not like I don't need to go as often as I do. Okay, so I could just go. Okay, I'll go once a month instead of twice a month. But it's good. But while I've got the money and I can afford it, I'll do it because like the amount I train, it helps me recover and stuff. Awesome. But again, that's like £40, or if I go for 90 minutes, £55-60 that I could spend on an expensive meal out. Yeah. But I'd rather get the massage. That might make me boring, but it matters to you. It does. It does matter to me. All right, Scott, you got 30 seconds. Oh no. All right, 30 seconds. Somebody's in my position. What do? Do they go to the gym? Do they find a PT? they need to lose weight. What do they do?
Okay. They need to figure out their why. They need to understand why they're wanting to do it.
Okay.
Because that's so important.
Mm-hmm.
You need to think of the reason that you've got yourself into the position of wanting to change,
Mm-hmm.
and never forgetting that. Because when times get tough, you need to remember why you started and why you're doing it. After that, yeah, it's a case of find what they enjoy. Find out what works for them. Whether it's weightlifting, whether it's CrossFit, whether it's powerlifting, whether it's running, whether it's triathlon, could be anything, but figure out what you enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't know how to do certain things, if you don't know how to eat well, get help. Get professional help. Because that's the difference between sticking to it and doing it the right way or lasting a month or two and then going back to old habits. Because most of the time with diet, it's just that people don't know. They think they're doing the right things, but they're just doing it all the wrong way. They're sacrificing, they're cutting out too much, making it too drastic a change, telling themselves they can't have certain things, or that's bad. As soon as they have that one bad thing, the whole diet's wrecked and they go on a binge and it stops. Whereas it doesn't have to be like that. It's a lot simpler than that. It's not easy, but it's not as hard as what people would think.
Mm-hmm.
And the biggest thing for that is if you don't know what you're doing with training or diet, is to get help off a professional and enjoy what you do and keep doing it, man. Never give up. Like, I know it's probably over 30 seconds, but never
just a bit, but it's fine.
Never give up. And I say that, I don't mean that in the sense of just saying it with no context. I mean it as in, like, we're all going to fuck up. We're all going to have bad weeks. We're not going to go to the gym. We're not going to eat well. Don't carry that on for 2, 3, 4, 6 months, a year.
Yeah.
I know pals who have went to the gym for 3 months, got good results, stopped, and they've not went back in a year.
Right.
Plus, like, why? They enjoyed the training at the time, but when they get out of that habit, it's just too comfortable and easy just to not go.
Yeah.
But if you have a bad week, don't make it 2 weeks. Just get back on it. Like, don't give up. Keep going. As I said, why did you start? Is it because you want to live longer? Is it because you've got kids that you want to be healthier for?
Mm-hmm.
Is it because you're single and you want to look better for the other
anyone else?
for anyone? I forgot stuck what I was saying there. For anyone, because that's okay. Like, that's a valid reason to train if you want to look better.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you need to remember why you're doing it, and just never give up, man, and keep going. And if you're struggling, get help.
That's very inspirational.
That's my advice.
Wow.
And if there's if there's things in your life, like, deep down is stopping you, whether that be alcohol, junk food, drugs, cigarettes, certain people, find out how to get rid of that of your life and watch your life change. If I had just continued to tell myself, I'll cut back in the booze, I'll just drink less, I wouldn't be sitting here talking to you saying this. I had to admit that I couldn't do it anymore at all. And as soon as I done that, my life changed.
As
forever.
soon as you're honest with yourself about it, that's it. Alright. Buddy, it's been a pleasure.
Thanks, man. Thanks for having me on.
It's good to hear, like, the full thing and then right up.
I hope I've not kept you back too late.
No, it's alright. We're the only people here anyway, so it's fine.
Thanks, buddy.
No, I appreciate that, mate. Thank you for listening. If anyone was, that'd be awesome.